Since in between.
Oh, look! Here comes our fearless producer!
Gwynn and Chris starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
What's up, San Diego, and welcome in to another edition of Gwynn and Chris. Live broadcast today. We are out and about. Skraby and I, we're just street talkers today, Skraby, right here out in front of
Street talkers.
Beautiful
I know. Thanks, Tony.
Casa Octavio on the corner of 10th and J. Kind of straight over the center field fence. It would be a deep shot, kind of where Franmil Reyes used to hit him, Skraby.
Yeah.
Way
yeah.
out here. And we're going to be hanging out for the next 3.5 hours, doing our show live with all of the fans out here. This place is just opening up, and we've got some early arriving Padre fans that are here. I do want to tell everybody before we bring Tony in, but we are going to be giving away, here's the deal, 2 tickets to tonight's game between the Padres and the Mets. We're going to give 1 pair away at 3 o'clock. We're going to give another pair away at 4 o'clock. And you're probably following along here. The last pair we'll give away at 5 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
See how that's going to work?
Yeah, I get it now.
I do. I figured you, I was trying to explain it to you earlier, and you seemed to be struggling with the concept.
We all know what kind of mood Chris is in today.
3
With that
o'clock,
comment right there.
3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Jeff Hamby is our promotion guy. He is out here. He's got the bin. You got to get fill out your form, put your name in the bin, and as Skraby accurately pointed out, if you can get down here early, you're going to have a better chance to win at 3 o'clock than you are at 4 o'clock. And at 5 o'clock, because there can be less names in the hopper.
Yes.
So if you are out and about, come on down to the Gas Lamp and join us, hang out, grab yourself some great Mexican food, have a cold beverage, and maybe win some tickets to tonight's game between the Padres and the Mets.
It's a big one. It's a big
one. The beginning of a big series. But let's bring my our great partner in, Tony Gwynn Jr., who I saw this morning on the round table. And, Tony, I know you can tell everybody the biggest surprise of the round table this morning was that, of all people asking for things to be a little more positive about the Padres, the person doing that was me.
Yeah, no, that's very true. First, I have to comment on our 4 box here. We got four gentlemen in the box today, 2 Skrabies, a.k.a. Adam Klug, a.k.a. Matt Skraby. I like that.
If you want to see it, go to YouTube and search 97.3 The Fan, because we got everybody here.
That being said, well, somebody has to turn their mic down or take me off of mute, one of the two, because I can hear myself echoing. That being said, yes, Chris was the Mr. Positive today. You know, today was I only spoke when spoken to. You know, usually I might interject. I only decided to participate when there was actually a question to me. Really not a lot to discuss. Padres had a regular week. It wasn't like an outstanding week. They lost 2 of 3. They won 2 of 3. And so that's, kind of how baseball normally goes. We've been so used to these 7-1, 8-2 stretches that it felt like it was normal. This is actually a little bit more normal, but Padres get back on track. They win the series against a very good Twins team. Now here come the New York Mets, fresh off a walk-off of Mr. Winker yesterday as they come into town and 4
Are you
games set.
telling me that everybody's favorite player, Jesse Winker's making an extra Petco Park appearance?
He gets the double dose of San Diego. I mean, that's guys are turning that down.
Maybe Jesse Winker can, talk to some of our fans tonight and tell them to behave themselves, or they can tell him to behave himself.
I was going to say, how do we feel about the over-the-top celebration that Jesse Winker delivered yesterday on a walk-off hit when he is, like, telling Jerks and Profar, hey, bro, don't celebrate your walk-off hit?
Here's the question. Dude.
Yeah, what's up?
Is it hypocritical? Absolutely.
Thank you.
Did we stop our celebrations, therefore, after Winker said we should? No, we did not. So,
We
all
win.
is fair. You do your thing, we do our thing. And now, the games are a little different when they actually mean something. In Washington, those games, they didn't really quite mean anything. Maybe it was just like, I can't celebrate. I don't want to see you celebrate type deal. Now his games mean something, and now he might understand where Jerickson's coming from now.
I just know that as of right now, Jesse Winker's 0-6 against the Padres this year. And I'm looking forward to trying to make him 0-7 and beyond starting tonight. But, the whole theme of the roundtable, I thought today, Tony, was doom and gloom. And everybody, concerned about the fact that, well, Matt Waldron is evidently never going to retire another batter.
He's cooked.
And with Ha-Seong Kim on the injured list, the Padres don't have any idea or any solution for shortstop. And losing yesterday to the Twins and losing a series to the Rockies, the sky is falling, despite the fact that they've now won 9 of their last 10 series, 4 of those by sweeps. And here come the Mets, and the Mets, oh no, are 5.5 games back of the Padres. And if they sweep us, they'll only be 1.5 behind us. I was trying to remind everybody, right now the Padres have the hammer. They have the big advantage. And I don't want to look behind me at the Mets right now. I want to keep looking forward, straight ahead, and keep doing what we're doing and playing good baseball. And if they do that, I don't really care what the Mets do. They're never going to catch us.
First of all, I agree with everything you said, Chris, as I did during the roundtable. Now, I will defend Ben. There isn't a lot for him to pull from right now. Like, there's not a whole lot of actual, real negative things for him to pull. So he kind of had to make it up. We're doing a roundtable for an hour, so you got to be able to keep it interesting. So I think that's why it took kind of a darker turn there. I don't think it was intentional.
No.
But you're right. Yes, let's all relax a little bit. Certainly Matt didn't throw the ball well yesterday. He hasn't thrown it well in the last few starts. I think yesterday what was interesting was it seemed like he was intent on fixing the early damage problem he had, where second inning he's giving a run. And he accomplished it. He accomplished it by pitching, I guess it would be backwards from his standpoint, right? He didn't even use the knuckleball. He threw it twice in the first couple innings. And then all of a sudden, he got through those 2 innings, and he was kind of mixing it in. But I think Seattle was hit. The Twins were hip to it. The Twins were hip to the fact that he wasn't, using the knuckleball as much, and they proceeded to attack everything else. And so that one got away from him. But like you said, what are the options beyond that, right? Vasquez has had his own issues up here. He's also had some successes up here. Brito hasn't really seemingly been able to fill the void in terms of out of the rotation. He had a good bullpen outing the last time we saw him, but there are not a ton of options. I think right now Matt Waldron is pitching more. I think you said it during the roundtable, more like a 5th starter right now. And so
Right.
Padres are going to have to support that a little bit, whether it's him or Vasquez at the back end. Now, they got some off days in September. They can do some juggling and maybe skip a spot as they did at a little bit of portion of time before the break, or I think it was right after the break. But either way, this is the guys who you have are the guys who you have. Ain't nobody coming through that door except for maybe an outside chance Yu Darvish is coming back, but really there's nothing solid there either. I think we just gotta. Yesterday was a bad day. They still won 2 of 3 in that series, I might add.
Yes, Matt Waldron is, I believe he's got an ERA over 10 or something like this in his last 5 starts. He's not the first pitcher to have an ERA over 10 during a stretch of 5 starts.
Yeah.
The guy pitched over the moon for 2.5 months. I'm not going to say he was due to come back to earth, but, he is a number 5 starter for a reason. And the fact of the matter is he was pitching incredibly good baseball. Now he's not. But, everybody wants to win every game. I get that, but it's not realistic. And I really don't have a problem. Now, if Waldron, he said his arm was a little sore, a little tired. If that's the case, then maybe, you put him on an injured list for 10 days and give him a little rest and, bring up a Vasquez, who, by the way, has an ERA of 8+ in El Paso right now. And you plug him in for a start. But, Waldron has been so good this year. To me, the overreaction on Waldron is similar to somebody going, wow, Jurickson Profar is 2 for his last 20. We better give him a rest. No, Jurickson Profar has been unbelievable all year. He's going to have a 2 for 20 streak in there. He struck out on a bad pitch yesterday. I don't think I've seen him do that hardly all season, but Profar's your guy right now. Merrill's been your guy. I mean, to me, just keep going with your guys, Tony. They're going to get us where we want to go.
Yeah, no, I think that's spot on. It reminds me a little bit of the scuttle after Waldron's first 4 or 5 starts. Everybody was ready to throw him in the ocean and then let him be. Instead, he just turned it around and had two and a half good months of quality starts. And so I just you gotta ride the wave, man. It's still 30-something games left. You got a team that's still playing pretty good baseball. I would say really good baseball outside of yesterday's game that got away from them. And there's really nothing to really be concerned about right now.
I don't think so. 22-7 since the All-Star break. And I want to say one more thing about Waldron. I know nobody wants to hear this, and I know nobody thought of this, but I certainly did yesterday, Tony. He really took one for the club a little bit. I mean, under normal circumstances, when it was 4-0, 5-0, you probably would have got him out of there.
Yep.
But with 4 games coming up against the Mets and having used your bullpen pretty extensively before that,
in the midst of 18 straight, by the way.
Right, 18 straight games. Mike Schilt, had to let him roll and, had to let him give up 10 runs. It wasn't his day. And I'm sure Mike Schilt and Ruben Niebla were aware of that. To me, he was a great teammate yesterday. I know nobody wants to think of it in that regard, but sometimes somebody's got to take a bullet for everybody else to, be okay and get some rest.
You have to think of that in that regard. When you're in the midst of 18 straight no off days, you're about to have a 4-game set against the Mets, followed by a 4-game set against the Cardinals. You got 3 more after that in Tampa, and then you got 1 at home against who was that? Who's the
Tigers.
Tigers,
yeah.
Right? You got to find a way to get through that, because guess what? If you're successful, that bullpen, they're going to be taxed. They're going to be. Even if, let's say if you are in within 3-run games, that bullpen is going to get punished.
Get used. Yeah.
You're going to get used, right? And so if you can squeeze an inning, even if it's 2/3 of an inning out of a guy, that makes a difference. And so you get Dylan Cease today, which you hope is the Dylan Cease that we've seen a lot of this year. He can get you 6, 7. He can get you 8, 9. He can get you 8, 9 too. So you would certainly love to have one of those type of starts where you're not having to use your main guys. But chances are, how this game usually works, you are going to have to use those guys. And so him staying in that game, I know it like you said, it's not a sexy story, but he stayed in that game. They kept him in that game with the hopes of him getting through the whole inning. He got, an out in that inning before he had to be taken out. And so, that's kind of the way it goes. And, you talked early, we talked about chasing wins early. This was one where once I don't know if it was you were just ceding the game, but once you put him out there and he gave up those runs, you knew it was going to be a big uphill climb.
Yeah, I don't think under normal circumstances, when it got to 5-0, you had a couple of runners on base, a big left-handed hitter coming up there, and obviously, Waldron really struggling. Under other circumstances, you might have gone left-hander right there and try to stop that rally at 5-0 and stay in the game. But you're right, Tony. You can't just commit everything to every game. And yesterday was Minnesota's day. And that's fine, so move on, turn the page. I like this setup. I know everyone's worried about the big, bad Mets, but I'll take my chances with Cease.
Big bad Mets, they haven't been that good lately.
Well, they swept us the first time, okay? So
All
people
right.
are worried that this is going to happen.
Season.
People are worried that it's going to happen again, but, I'll take my chances with Cease and King. What's that?
Sorry, Chris.
Just keep
Tony
interrupting me. Go ahead.
We're having a side conversation while you're making your point. All I was saying was that, yes, it was the same season, but it feels like two different seasons from the last time that they played.
I'm just giving you a hard time here, Scrape.
I'm sorry, Chris. I didn't mean to cut off your point, but I do have to say that it was a little harsh, I think, to boo the team yesterday. I mean, it's one game, guys. Like, why are we booing? Yeah, there were some boos. We up in the Skraby suite. We're like, man, that's pretty tough on the team. They've been pretty good lately.
I don't know that they were noticeable. You guys are in that little tunnel, so it kind of echoes over there.
Oh, so it was directed towards our suite.
Yes, I think they were booing you.
Oh, this explains everything, because I said this like 5 times.
They saw you pop your head out. That's when the boos started.
It makes perfect sense to me.
I walked right into that one again.
Yes. I don't know what's easier to hit, the lob balls I get on Wednesday night in softball or the lob balls I get from you on Thursday afternoons during the show.
Lots of
Thank you
lob
very
balls,
much.
for sure.
Yeah, lots of easy pitches to hit. But, just keep going, man. Keep doing what they're doing. They're fine. Jackson Merrill, even in a loss, has another nice day. This kid continues to extend, I think. I know Paul Skeens is going to pitch tonight. Paul Skeens better pitch a couple no-hitters right now if he wants to get back in the Rookie of the Year race, because I think Jackson is extending that margin and almost making it something I don't have to worry too much about. Get us focused on these last 5 weeks and get us focused on getting where we want to go.
The Brewers fans are out saying that Jackson Churrio's making a push.
Yeah, I contend that we live in a silo, for sure. I definitely think Jackson should be the leader. But I don't think the rest of the country is talking about it the same way we're talking about it. And, the evidence, I can't remember who we had on. We were talking about it. And, Adam, was that you that day that set up our guest that day?
Rob Bradford?
It was Rob. It was Rob. And his answer to it, being him on the East Coast, the answer he gave, I believe, was like, if he can do this, Jackson can win. And, that's not how we're viewing it here on the West Coast. We're viewing it like, he doesn't need to do anything but keep doing what he's doing. Yeah. I'm not sure that is how all of the writers on maybe in the Midwest, in Central, or in the East Coast are viewing this. So I think it'll be a good race one way or another when it's all said and done.
Yeah, just look at when you get your ballot out there, if you're listening in across the country, don't bother looking at anything else but the stupid war statistic before you
that's also what he said. He thought a lot of people just look at that and make
That's exactly vote. Right. That's what he said. And, I mean, I'm not trying to – yes, I am. I'm trying to pick on Hassan Kim right now.
Oh, no.
But Craig –
he's injured.
Hassan taking strays.
He's taking a stray
While
he's
injured.
And while he's injured, he's taking a stray because Craig pointed out in the roundtable that Ha-Sung is still 4th on the team in F-WAR. And I don't know even what F-WAR is.
It's the Fangraph War.
Okay. But my point is, and this, I guess if this is a stray, so be it, there isn't anybody in their right mind who's followed the Padres this year who could look at you in the eye and say, Ha-Sung Kim has been our 4th best player. There's just no way you can do it. Even if you're the biggest Ha-Sung Kim fan out there, he hasn't been the 4th best player. So the fact that the statistic says he is tells me all I want to know about that statistic. There.
Chris
I vented. Sorry, Ha-Sung.
Chris doesn't roll his eyes like I do, but I felt like in that moment when it was said that he wanted to roll his eyes.
I did,
could feel
it. When Craig said that, I was like, ah! It was like nails across a chalkboard to me.
You know what? We'll ask Russell Dorsey at 2:40 about all this stuff.
Well, I mean, we might as well ask him now. We're already at 2:20 in this first segment.
Take that for data.
Oh, my gosh, we are. I'm way out of studio. Oh, jeez.
Take that for data.
Okay.
Well, let's go to break, and then we'll come back. More of our live broadcast today. 10th and J, come on by, win Padre tickets. Gwynn and Chris.
Mostly sunny and breezy.
I'm going to assume we're back. I don't see our faces on the screen. Okay, there we go. 226 short segment. We went a little long after the first one.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say short segment nowadays because I said short segment like 2 years ago, and now that's stuck in everybody's head.
Yep.
Yes,
short segment.
It's a short segment.
Short seg. I mean, seg is used for other meanings now, so you got to be careful with that as well. Fernando Tatis, that came up yesterday, and I think as my man Chris Ello would tell you, we really didn't get a ton of information in terms of timelines or exact details on what Toddy's been doing. However, where did you get this little blurb, Mr.
This
Matthew?
was from Kevin Acey's newsletter.
Yeah, newsletter. To be clear, Kevin Acey writes, Fernando Tatis Jr. being placed on the 60-day injury list. Saw a lot of people freaking out about this. Yesterday carries zero significance regarding his health. It was merely to make room for Mason McCoy, who had to be added to the 40-man roster. Yesterday was actually Toddy's 61st day on the IL. So him moving to the 60 means nothing. He can come off whenever he is healthy enough, even if it takes longer than the 60 days that he's been on there. AC writes, in fact, there is likely news of progress forthcoming. Manager Mike Schilt mentioned yesterday after afternoon that the next steps in Tatis' comeback were being discussed. The expectation is for an increase in baseball activity soon, and Tatis is progressing as expected in his return from the stress reaction in his femur. The next step could well involve Toddy going on the road with the team next week as he ramps up his on-field work in advance of anticipated rehab stint. Nothing better for a guy than to go into the depths of hell, basically, with the heat that we will be under in St. Louis and get himself ready for some Major League Baseball. So good news on that front. Not a ton of detail there, but, I mean, the mere fact that he is likely to travel, because he hasn't traveled in a little bit of time on the road trip. He'll get it. That means he's getting closer. And so we
gosh. I didn't know my mic was on. I'm sorry.
I know that
I know Adam's covering his
I'm glad you only said, oh, my gosh.
I know. I was looking at the weather in St. Louis, and you're right. It's 97, 98, 95. Sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
I don't know why I even try to make any points on the show.
That one was
really
unintentional. Unintentional.
Want to give us the weather report in Tampa for the next weekend, too?
I would not, because they're playing a dome.
Goodness gracious. Tatis, first of all, he's going to get his muscles and everything loose in St. Louis, as you said, Tony.
No,
so that's
he won't have to worry about getting loose.
No, that's for sure. I want to ask you, just from a couple different perspectives, as part of the team and a little bit, on the journalism side of things. Do you understand maybe better than I do why the Padres are so, and not just the Padres, everybody is so unwilling to be forthcoming when it comes to giving a little injury update on somebody? Is it going to really be a big deal if Mike Schilt said, I think we could get Fernando back for the Tiger series on Labor Day? Would that be a terrible thing to do if they know that?
Here's what I've learned in my time as a broadcaster working kind of behind the scenes. I think that part of that is just philosophy, comfort, but it also has to do with the day and age that we live in, right? I have seen in the past, probably a couple of managers ago, a timeline be given, it not reach, and then speculation begins to unfold. And I think part of it, I'm not saying a lot of it, all of it, some of it, I'm just saying a part of the calculation is if we don't give a timeline, we could cruise on, being wrong about a a perceived injury or some type of deal. I don't necessarily think that is the way that you have to do on all the cases, but I certainly understand why they are reluctant to give out timelines, tell you exactly what said player is doing. Because today you might say, Toddy was out there running sprints today. And then the people start to throw their own little twist on that. And then, what's true, what's not true starts to happen. And I don't know, this is a complicated.
It is.
It's a complicated from the standpoint of once you put that kind of information out there, you don't no longer get to control how it is, the narrative at that point. And so I think there's some reluctance on that, but I don't know that is the answer for all of the kind of, kept tight to the vest.
The secrecy type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't feel for Mike Schilt to a certain extent, but anytime somebody says, hey, what's the latest on so-and-so, Mike Schilt has to switch into this mode where he has to be so very careful about everything he says. And I know he's really not giving away government secrets here. It's just a player and, whether they're injured or whether they're coming back. But I get what you're saying, Tony. If you don't say anything, then you can't be wrong. So that's the way to go.
Say we were going to give away some prize, and I said we're going to give away this prize, and I wasn't really sure about it, and then we didn't give away the prize. It would come back bad on me. So I understand it in that terms with Mike Schilt. Like, he doesn't want to give, hey, Toddy's coming back, and then people are like, dude, you said he was coming back.
I think a lot of this, some of it is that especially like let's say Kim's issue. Sometimes it takes a few days before they can actually figure out exactly what's going on, right? You may have too much swelling for an MRI or an X-ray to be able to actually be productive. So you got to wait for some of that to go down. And so, or it just in general of, not actually knowing exactly what's wrong with the guy at that particular time. Listen, they got doctors here, but sometimes the answers don't come as fast as I think we all think they're coming. I think that also plays a part in it. So, nevertheless, we already we're doing it again. We need to get to break. Russell Dorsey on the other side is going to join us. He was in a heated discussion the other day about our guy Jackson Merrill, and he was on the right side, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get his thoughts when we return. Russell Dorsey joins us next on Gwynn and Chris.
Welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. Crisello, Matt Skraby today, broadcasting live on the corner of 10th and J, right adjacent to Petco Park, where tonight the Padres will take on the New York Mets. Tony Gwynn Jr., of course, is up in the booth at Petco Park. And we are just one quick reminder before we bring Russell Dorsey on from Yahoo Sports. At the top of this hour, we're going to be giving away our first pair of free tickets to tonight's Padres-Mets game. So if you are anywhere in the neighborhood, you want to come by, get your name in the hopper, and you'll have a chance to win a couple of tickets to go see the game this evening. Right now, though, very excited to have Russell Dorsey on. Always a pleasure. It's from Yahoo Sports. Also see him on MLB Network. And Russell, first of all, congratulations on all of your success right now.
Man.
I'm seeing you everywhere, and it's about high time we do.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Probably seeing me too much, but that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not even close to too much. I mean, you got a lot of great information to part. Let's start with, something we saw you talking about the other day, and something near and dear to all of us here. It's this Rookie of the Year race. You would think that this means more to us almost than winning the World Series, the way people talk about it in San Diego. I feel like every Padre fans think that if, Jackson Merrill doesn't win it, the whole city is going to be slighted. I don't know that it's quite that, severe. But Jackson Merrill certainly deserves to be right near the top of the conversation right now, doesn't he?
He does. And I think that Jackson Merrill has been a huge part of what the Padres have been able to do, here in the second half. And the reason that I view them as a real threat in the National League. Obviously, we talk about all the moves they made at the deadline, but I think you're seeing a guy in Jackson Merrill that is oozing with confidence. And as the days go by, he's getting more and more confident. Like, guys, over the last 30 days, he has an OPS over 1,000. And you can say that he has been a major part of this team's turnaround offensively. And so as a guy who's been a voter for different awards before, you're thinking about these types of things. Like, all right, is this team in the postseason? Yes. Why is this guy important in this team's success? And I think when you look at Jackson Merrill and the Rookie of the Year race, I think the world of Paul Skeens, and he's going to be a great pitcher in the big leagues for a long time, and he's been doing it at a high level this year as well. But I think when you look at what Jackson Merrill has been able to do this season and how important he has been to the Padres' success and getting to the postseason, I don't think that you can make a case that he doesn't deserve the award.
Russ, I mean, a lot of people out this way have been paying close attention to him all year. But most of the country has had Paul Skeens from the moment that he came up and started throwing up all them Ks. He's been the front runner. At what point for you personally, as a guy who's had votes on awards like this, at what point for you do you think was the turning point for Jackson Merrill in terms of him now being the lead dog in this race?
I would say July,
Okay.
right around the All-Star break, because I have obviously been watching Jackson Merrill do his thing all year, but I think that's when you saw the change for him as a guy who was figuring it out on the fly, and it was like, oh, yeah, I'm a dude, right? And you just started to see him take off. Obviously going to the All-Star game in his rookie season, I think that's a big confidence booster for him as well. And then when the Padres started winning, you started seeing him every night. Big hit, 3-run double, a homer. Then all the late game heroics, that's been the thing for me that has been almost a multiplier for him, where it's like, yeah, it's not just he's 21 and he's playing well. He's in the biggest moments. The guy that you want up is the 21-year-old out in center field, and I think that's a big deal. And I think that's really, solidified things in my mind of him, being the guy.
Russell Dorsey, Yahoo Sports, MLB Network, our guest here on Gwynn and Chris this afternoon. And Russ, how do you look at the National League in its entirety here with 5 weeks to go? I mean, looks like the Dodgers, they're getting a little healthier, obviously, on offense, and they've strung together some wins, but the Padres and the Diamondbacks certainly closed the gap. The Phillies had their stumble. Now they seem to kind of regain their footing. The Braves haven't quite gone away yet. It seems like a very wide open, race for the pennant once you get to the playoffs. Do you see it any differently?
No, and I think the National League, even more so the American League this year, has been pretty wide open, right? Outside of the big boys and Philly and the Dodgers, even though look, 4 games back with 5 weeks to go isn't crazy. And I do think the Dodgers are going to close out the NL West, but I've been saying it for the better part of 2 weeks now. I don't want to see the Padres or the D-backs if I'm any team in the postseason right now. Like, with what the D-backs have been able to figure out offensively and what the Padres have been able to figure out as one of the best teams in baseball since the All-Star break. Like, those are 3 teams in the NL West that can get you out of here. And you're right, like, the Dodgers are getting healthy. But when I look at the National League as a whole, I'm not a huge believer in Atlanta. And I think for them, it's just kind of how many hits can you take as far as the injuries are concerned. And I get it. I'm a big everybody gets hurt, everybody has injuries type of guy. But when you lose the NL MVP in Acuna and you lose your best starter in Spencer Strider and Fried goes down and Ozzie Albies goes down and Austin Riley breaks his wrist, it's almost too much to take. And so I look at a team like the New York Mets, who people didn't expect to be here at this point in the season. People thought they were going to trade away guys and trade away Alonso and, move Severino. And here they are just a game and a half out of that third and final NL wild card spot. And I look at them as being a team that has all the momentum. And I look at Atlanta as being a team that just doesn't necessarily have that juice that we've seen from them in years past, as well as having all the injuries.
Russ Dorsey joins us here on Gwynn and Chris. And Russ, you bring up a good point, right? The National League does seem to be more wide open than the American League. We watched this Padre team take it to the Baltimore Orioles, who at the time I think was considered the best team in the American League. We also watched the Yankees come here to San Diego and put it on the Padres. I mean, who do you think right now is the best team in baseball? I mean, we've had – I guess the one good thing about this schedule now where everybody plays everybody is you get a chance to see how these teams measure up. Who do you have as the best team in baseball right now?
Man, I promise, and I'm not saying this, I feel like it changes by the day, right? And I feel like every day I wake up, it's like, nah, man, the Phillies are the best team in baseball. It's like, oh, man, Judge and Soto. Oh, man, look what Gunner's doing, right? Oh, here come the Guardians. Here are the Brewers. It's like every night you can make a case that it's somebody different. But to answer your question, I think 5 weeks away from the postseason, I think the best team in baseball overall is the Philadelphia Phillies. And I think when you look at what they've been able to do in terms of consistency, the fact that they're a team that has, won a division, they've been a team that's gotten in as a wild card team and gotten to the World Series, like, I don't think they're worried about the regular season. I think they know that when they get to October, because they've been there, 3-4 years in a row now, they know what it takes to kind of, not empty out the tank in the regular season like we've seen teams do. Like, I look at a team like the Seattle Mariners, and unfortunately for Scott Service, that's just been a team that has not been able to get over the hump and figure things out as we get in the late part of the season. And it cost him his job. But I think the Phillies are the team right now that I would say, if you had to pin me down on an answer, I'm saying the Phillies.
Fair enough.
We'll call you back and ask you in another hour to see if you still feel that way.
Right.
Russ Dorsey is with us. I'm going to come a little high and tight with this question because I know you do a lot of stuff for the MLB Network. And I know there's a lot of analytical guys over there at the MLB Network. I watch them all the time. I'm just going general here. Your thoughts on WAR statistics and things of that nature and how they measure players. Because we've been, again, I'm going to go back to Jackson Merrill. He has been downgraded because his WAR has not been as high as some other players. The analytics are starting to bug me a little, Russ. How should I couch all of this in my mind?
All right, I'm going to say it this way. I am a baseball writer who has been mentored by longtime baseball writers. And I'm also a guy who's grown up in this analytics era. So I'm not a guy that, shies away from the analytics, because I think it's important in telling, the story of a player or what a team's doing, etc. I also think that your eyes work for a reason, right? Like, you're able to watch things and see things, and you talk to people. And I think, to me, let's use Jackson Merrill, for example. I think WAR is something where it's like, all right, do you use B-WAR, which is Baseball References number? Do you use F-WAR, which is Fangraphs number? And Jackson Merrill is a guy in his first year, playing in center field, would be considered an above-average defender, right, by eye test. You say, all right, this kid is going out, making plays, using his athleticism. He's currently a -1 defensive run save, but he's a +6 outs above average, right? And so you're probably looking at that like, well, what are all these metrics saying? They would say that Jackson Merrill is an above-average center fielder. He might not make the same amount of plays like we'll use Dalton Varsho, because that's a guy, to me, eye test and analytics, that's the best center fielder in the game right now. But what he does do is he has crazy range because of that athleticism, where you see a higher outs above average, because he's going to turn a lot more batted balls into outs because he can get to a lot more things. So, like, outs above average is something that would explain range. Range is something we've had in the games for 100 years. So I think you use analytics to tell a full picture. It's not the only thing you use, just like the eye test isn't the only thing we use anymore. And I think baseball's better for it. Yes, I get it. I think there are sometimes we're coming up with different numbers just because we can. Cool, right? And shout out to all the people over at Baseball Savant that put these things out. But I do think analytics are important in telling a full and complete picture of some of these amazing players we have around the big league.
I 100% agree. The eye test is as good of a test as it is not it's not sufficient always, and you do need the analytics to kind of give the whole picture at times. Russ, last one for me. We've talked a lot about Rookie of the Year, but MVP was getting a little interesting. Now, with Ketel Marte kind of down now, at least on the National League side, how do you see this kind of race shaping up right now? Because, assuming he's going to get back, he's on the 10-day IL. He was pretty much single-handedly bringing the Diamondbacks, or helping the Diamondbacks keep pace with the Padres this whole time. Who do you have at the front runner in National League and American League?
Yeah, so, Ketel Marte is a guy that is still, even with the injury, is going to be heading for a top 3 finish in MVP voting in my mind. I do think it's Shohei Ohtani's award to lose. And I think when you look at what he is about to do, he's going to go 40-40, and we haven't reached the month of September. And we've never seen a player do that before. And I know sometimes you think, oh, man, we talk about Shohei all the time. And we do. But I think when you really start to sit back and say, wow, this dude is rehabbing from Tommy John surgery and also upped his game offensively and started to add speed to his game, I think you're truly seeing something we've never seen before, and he continues to get better and is well worth the $700 million that the Dodgers gave him. And I think on the other side of the American League, I think we're seeing something similar. What Aaron Judge is doing, I don't like comparing Barry Bonds to other players because
I know where you're
Barry
going, though.
was crazy. But that's as close as we've seen to Barry since Barry played. Like, that's as close as we've seen since 2007, which is the last time Barry played. And I was at the Yankees game last night, and I saw what pitchers were trying to do when you're like, man, I can't get this guy out in the strike zone. Here it is, Aaron. Try and hit it, and he does. And he did it again today. And, that's a guy that is on a whole nother level right now offensively. And I can't imagine that I love Bobby Witt Jr., and in another year, he would be the runaway MVP, but it is Aaron Judge's award.
Russ, you're our guy. We appreciate the time as always, and look forward to catching up to you down by the playoff time. Thanks for joining us out here.
Thanks, Russ.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, 1 hour down. We're going to give away some Padre tickets and come back. More Gwynn and Chris on the way.
Into the 3 o'clock hour we go. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris August, Matt Skraby. Daily Gambit coming your way. We do have an interesting thing. Russ said something that kind of sparked my mind a little bit. You know, it's interesting. Without Shohei throwing the baseball, Aaron Judge is the best player in baseball right now, to me. Aaron Judge, and he brought up a great point about not wanting to compare him to Barry Bonds, but, I mean, if you look at his numbers, it's really the closest thing we've had, and it's from the right-handed side. You know, Barry, a lot of times, I feel like was intentionally walked because he was left-handed, and there just felt like there was less room to get him out. Aaron Judge is hitting pitches that, and they're not even trying to throw him strikes. He's hitting pitches that are like off the plate for homers. Yeah. And I was thinking about this on the drive down. That's what makes Shohei so special, is that he can do all this stuff offensively and then get on the mound every fifth and give you an unbelievable start. But as great as this season is, without that, I think Aaron Judge has a great argument to being the best player in baseball without him being a two-way player right now.
Well, the one thing that we always, you and I think we're most impressed with Barry Bonds when we would talk about what he did, Tony, was that it seemed to both you and I that Barry Bonds would get maybe one pitch to hit per game.
Per game, yes.
Because everything else was thrown outside the strike zone or they bounced it up there. So he'd get maybe one pitch per game, and he almost always hit a home run on that pitch.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Judge is doing now.
Yep.
With, the Yankees. And I wonder, are the Yankees going to be the first team in baseball history where the opposing manager has to walk two hitters in a row
right?
just to get to the number 5 spot? Because you can't really pitch to Soto right now either. He's got 36 or 7 home runs. And if he doesn't hit a home run, he walks. And if Judge doesn't hit a home run, he walks. And I just wonder if you're going to start seeing intentional walk for these two guys, because that's kind of what's going on right now.
You know, in today's day and age, there are teams that have actually thought about it. There's some analytics department right now thinking, is there any way we could walk both of these guys and it be a better scenario than having to face one of them? Because now,
I don't know who bats 5th for the Yankees, honestly, but whoever that is, they're going to get some chances in the playoffs, because I'm sure teams are not going to let Soto and Judge do too much damage. So who's ever that next hitter or two, they might be the keys.
Today, it was Wells today.
Austin Wells.
It was 2 and 3 today. Soto, Judge.
Okay, so Wells hit 4th. Well, I don't know a lot about Austin Wells, but I'd sure rather pitch to him.
Right. I don't even need to know a whole lot about Austin Wells.
Yeah,
I just know that I don't want to face those two dudes in front of him before he gets up.
Yeah, so that could be an interesting something to watch for come postseason, because in postseason every at bat, every inning matters. And Judge and Soto, that is some kind of duo. I mean, they're both going to end up with 40 home runs and well over 100 walks. Judge may get to 60 the way he's going. I don't know if Soto can quite make 50. He's going to need 14 more. But, other than I think Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris, I don't remember 2 teammates ever having 50 home runs. So, this is pretty special what's happening with those 2 guys in New York.
Did you know that Aaron Judge has now broken the record for number of first-inning home runs for Yankees? And it was over Babe Ruth. I think he's hit 17 first-inning home runs this season. Let me get my pregame show notes from the other day just to make sure I have this right, because you guys are both looking at me like I'm crazy. So
I'm not. For the record, I'm not looking at you at all. I didn't even know you were doing any looking at the camera. So and
I can't help but look at you crazy.
Why?
So that's just...
I am an idiot. Hey, it's kind of true, but hey,
I am an idiot.
Man,
it's
I
true.
am stinking up the joint.
Oh, my gosh. Adam's just hitting every one of them. Okay, now I can't find the dumb stat, of course. This is great, everybody.
I will tell everybody while you're looking for that during the pregame warm-up to our live broadcast out here, Skraby was trying to figure out what to do with a certain wire to plug it in. And our promotion guy, Jeff Hamby, said, well, why don't you do this? And Skraby said, I am an idiot.
I did actually say that. That is true.
That's a common phrase from him.
All right, I got the stat right. Judge's home run the other day was his 17th in the first inning this year, breaking Babe Ruth's record from 1927.
Anytime you're breaking a Babe Ruth record, it's a good thing. It's an impressive thing. Well,
before we go to our daily Gambit, I got the lineup here for you if you guys want to hear it.
Let's go.
Pretty standard. The only change today is Mason McCoy gets to start at shortstop. Arise, Profar, Cronenworth, Machado, Bogarts, Merrill, Peralta, Camposano, Cronenworth back in the first base spot. Luis, the designated hitter today. That's the only change.
What have you heard about Mason McCoy, Tony? Have you got any insight?
We saw a lot of Mason McCoy during spring training. He seemed to be in the thick of everything. He didn't go down until like the 11th, I think, of March. He was a late send down. Because remember, we left early to go to Korea. But I do remember he stood out in terms of how he played during the spring. He did a lot of really good things. He just was, behind a slew of other guys who were competing for that spot. And so what you saw yesterday with his knock to right, you saw a lot of that during spring training. So Padres, again, just trying to supplement that spot until Ha-Sung comes back off the IL.
Well, the Padres have been catching lightning in a bottle all year. So
Word.
I will be surprised if he doesn't go at least 3 for 4 with a couple of ribbies tonight. The way, that's putting a lot of pressure on him. I don't mean to do that, but I'm just saying it seems like everyone who's been asked has come through for the Padres, and I hope it continues with Mason McCoy getting the start tonight. What about the Twins? Do we care about their line? Not really.
They're not
the
up
Twins
yet.
They're not playing today.
Yeah, the Twins
that's
are gone.
right. Yeah, well, but I still want the Twins lineup.
They're not playing today.
They're off today, too, so they don't have a lineup coming.
They don't have a lineup anywhere.
Yeah.
There's no way to track down a Twins lineup today. Darn
No, Rocket Ball Deli's not working.
Chilling today.
Well, all right.
Here's the other thing to keep in mind. There are a few teams that travel well to San Diego. This team is one of them.
The Mets?
The Mets travel
they get
well.
a lot of fans.
I do recall seeing a bunch of blue and orange every time they come. It's in certain sections, but they travel well here to San Diego.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of Mets fans out there, I'm sure, this weekend. But, hopefully the Padres – look, the Padres effectively ended the season for the Pirates. And they can honestly do the same thing this weekend to the Mets. I mean, I know everybody's talking about, well, if the Mets win this and win that, they can close the gap. Well, the opposite is also true. If the Padres win 3 out of 4, the Mets may never be heard from again in terms of, catching the Padres. They can be 7.5 behind if that happens. So,
right.
Let's hope for it to go that way. I do want to remind everybody this hour brought to you by Floor & Decor. Unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. Floor & Decor, wow, I got to be honest with you. Is that what I want to say? Flow Deck Twin Live.
Oh, no, that's the code that's in the...
That's what I thought.
I usually remove that, to be honest. I never leave that in there.
You are unbelievable.
I just wanted to see if you were going to read it or not. So
he wanted to see if you were Ron Burgundy there. Just read what's on the paper. Yeah,
you Ron Burgundy?
For all I knew, that was some sort of floor decor that's, new that I don't know about. They have more styles of laminate, vinyl, tile, wood, and stone for anyone looking for the right look at the right price. Your next beautiful space is at Floor & Decor. Floor & Decor, unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. That was embarrassing.
No, it wasn't.
What else is new around here?
We're gonna have to do the daily Gambit next segment with it being so
new
late.
around here.
I've had a pretty crazy couple of days. Okay.
He did host his big party yesterday, and I think we should salute Skraby for his second Skrabinator party at Petco Park. He had another big turnout over there.
Grow?
We did, yes. The Skrabinators grew, and we also had more different people in the group, like that didn't know each other. So it was a lot of introducing each other. Spiros provided, if I can say that correctly, great food, and everybody was very happy with that. Everybody stayed pretty much the entire game, even though the game wasn't that great. We still had a good old time.
Well, you're giving them access to a private.
And I'm telling you, Chris,
private
those
box
games
there. It's very nice.
Ooh. I
What?
see Fernando doing sprints right now.
Our eye in the sky.
Wow.
Tony Gwynn Jr.
This is breaking news. 97.3 The Fan.
Not breaking news at all.
No, it is. He's doing sprints. That's breaking
running
news.
sprints.
I mean, come on. Most people say that the thing about the suite that is the best is the bathroom, which I completely 100% agree.
Well, I mean, have you been in a regular bathroom?
Yes, I have. I went into the Wrigley Field bathroom a couple weeks ago, and that was disgusting.
I was about to say, they still have the
Trough.
I'm
I'm telling you, it's so bad. And it was like humid in there, and there was no air circulation.
You know what's funny about that is, as a kid, I don't know why you thought that was like cool, just like a big long line.
Yeah, it is weird, right?
But as an adult, it is the most disgusting thing that you can think of. Like, how did that ever become a thing?
And the show is disintegrating once again.
Yes. Well, this is the conversation I think people like, is the stadium bathroom talk.
Potty talk?
Fenway might have had the worst bathroom I've ever been
Fenway's
in.
bad.
It was so bad, and it was cold, and they had the heat blasting in the bathroom.
Well, the stadium was built. Both those stadiums, Wrigley and Fenway, were built in 1912. And I'm pretty sure that the bathrooms have not been remodeled since.
Yeah.
So I think they're both 112-year-old urinals that you're using, or troughs.
I mean, that's kind of cool because, I like stuff like that.
The original.
I like historical bathroom fixtures, apparently. But anyway, I think it's time for break.
Yeah, it's definitely time for break. We were supposed to do some Daily Gambit. You guys will take care of that on the other side. I have to go down and I'm sure I'll have I'll send you guys some texts on some tidbits that Mr. Mike Shields says.
Whatever information he's disclosing, we want it.
And Chris is going to have a problem with it.
Probably.
Let's get to break. More Gwynn and Chris on the other side.
welcome back. Welcome back to the program. I think I've said it 3 times. I don't know how many times you heard it, but welcome back. We are broadcasting live today from Casa Octavio. It is on the corner of 10th and J. Obviously in the gas lamp. It's right adjacent to Petco Park. We had a winner earlier of a pair of tickets to the Padres game tonight. Patrick was our first winner today. Way to go, Patrick. Enjoy the game tonight. Joey's got all his Padre gear on, so we don't have to worry about him rooting for the wrong team. We're going to be giving away another pair of tickets at 4 o'clock and then a final pair of tickets at 5 o'clock. So, again, if you are coming to the game tonight, you're going to be down here, you don't have tickets, or maybe you want a couple of more. I don't know. Make sure you get down here, fill out the quick form. It'll take you about 30 seconds. Get your name into the hopper.
In the hopper.
And then we're going to announce the next winner at 4 o'clock. Pair of tickets to tonight's Padres-Mets game. I got to say, if I was like driving around down in the gas lamp and I'm thinking, God, I'd love to go to the game tonight. How am I going to get in?
Yeah, right now, parking.
Like, what a great opportunity. You can just come by and win tickets just like that.
Exactly, and parking's not too bad right now, so if you get down here, you can park pretty close by, and it won't be a big deal.
Or just leave your car in the street there and come over and fill out the form.
No, I don't recommend
You don't think that's a good idea?
No, because then they're going to be like, that guy over there said we can leave our car here. He's going to pay for all the towing expenses.
That guy over there.
See?
That guy over there.
Yeah.
All right, I want to remind everybody real quick. Our the previous show to us, our midday guys and gals, Mr. Craig Elston, Annie Heilbrunn, they got a big interview tomorrow morning. So I just want to let everybody know that they're going to have the new coach of the Wave on.
Yep.
Landon Donovan.
He's the interim.
Well,
yes.
New. He's new.
Yeah, no, true. It's a big
Still
deal. Yes.
new.
Yes.
So he'll be on tomorrow at 10:30 tomorrow morning with Annie and Elston. So make a note of that.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to. Look, I think Landon Donovan's a good fit for the Wave. So we'll see how that works out.
You know what I like about the Wave is they keep bringing in the people that are most associated with success in American soccer, like with Jill Ellis and
not
Landon
a bad
Donovan.
idea.
It's not. No.
It's not a bad idea. Successful people usually translate to successful performance.
Oh,
usually.
Should we do a T-shirt for that too?
No, just work on the T-shirt that says, "Oh, that's just great, everybody." That's the T-shirt.
I'm going to work
on
on that. I'm going to work on that. Yes.
All right, let's work on a daily gambit, shall we?
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo!
If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit's our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. We do have a video of Fernando. We're not going to play it right this moment. I'm going to try to get us back on track, but we will play the video for the YouTube stream, and we'll describe it in the next segment before we get into 30 Mile Zone. But Daily Gambit, we have some bets to review from Tuesday, and I'll quickly do that. The first bet was the Liberty, New York Liberty, and I forget who they were playing, but
Dallas,
the Dallas Wings. Thank you. Liberty were 11-point favorites. Both of us chose the Liberty. Liberty won by 20, so we won that one. Aces were playing the Lynx. The Aces were 5.5-point favorites. Chris chose the Lynx. I chose the Aces. Chris was right. Lynx won, and they won big, 98-87 over the
Lynx are having
Aces.
a nice year there, Minnesota.
The Minnesota Twins were -1.5 on the run line over the Padres on Tuesday night. Both of us said the Padres, and the Padres did end up winning that game 7-5, which was very fun.
Right.
Then the Dodgers and the Mariners on Tuesday night, over under 9 total runs in the game. Chris said over, I said under. We both win because it was 9 runs in the game. So
or we
tied.
both don't win.
Yeah, but
nobody wins.
I take a tie as a win because you didn't actually lose money.
Yes, but they don't give you any money for ties. in the
That's fine with me. I'm not
betting world.
I'm not
actually,
in the red.
You know what? Actually, they do give you money. They give you your money back. So you do come away with something.
Exactly. I'm not in the red. I'm not in the green. Anyway, see what you did, Chris? You mentioned someone should park on the street. Now the parking enforcement's here, and they're getting a ticket.
Move along.
Zach Wheeler over under 6 1/3 innings pitched was the bet on Tuesday night. And Chris went under, I went over. Zach Wheeler had 6 innings, so you win that bet, Chris.
Did you total up my score for the day?
I think you were, 4-0-1?
Yeah, that's what I want to hear.
That's you made me say it so that he could pat himself on the back.
Yes, I had a good day on Tuesday. Let's see how we do today. Padres are favored tonight, Skraby, over the Mets by 1.5 runs. That makes sense to me with Dylan Cease on the mound. I'm gonna ride Dylan Cease. He did lose to the Mets the first time around, but when they lost to the Mets, that was when they were in the stretch that they couldn't score a run against a left-handed pitcher.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
And the Mets threw a couple of left-handed pitchers at them.
Yeah.
I will go with Cease tonight for the Padres. How about you?
What was the bet? I'm sorry, I was handling
Padres
something.
favored by 1.5.
Yes, I will take the Padres.
Show's over at 5:30. You're going to have to make a decision.
Okay, all right.
Padres and Mets over under 7.5 runs tonight.
Padres, Mets. The Mets have been scoring lately. Padres have, for the most part, been scoring. I'm going to say over.
Over. I'll go under. Again, I'm going to back my man Dylan Cease there. Paul Skeens going to work tonight for the Pirates against the Reds. Over under 5 2/3 innings. All he has to do is get the 6 to go over. Paul Skeens, I think he will go over tonight against the Reds. Reds are playing a little better. But Skeens might as well pitch 6 now because they're going to shut him down soon when the Pirates fall completely out of contention. I'll say over
they
on this
say
one.
They're not going to.
Yeah, well, they also said they weren't going to send him back to the minor leagues before the season, and then they did.
That's true.
They're liars.
I'm going to say under because I feel like the shutdown is happening.
They're liars, the Pirates. Corbin Burns, 5.5 strikeouts tonight against the Houston Astros. Corbin Burns, the big free agent signing for the Baltimore Orioles, has had a pretty good year.
He's been
Cy
struggling
Young
lately.
caliber. Not Cy Young caliber. What do you think? 5.5 Ks tonight against the Astros.
Let me look up Corbin Burns real quick because
You're trying to make an intelligent wager here.
7 strikeouts in his last. 5 before that.
Yeah.
He gave up 8 earned runs in his last start.
Okay.
I'm going to go under.
Under. All right. I say the Astros free swingers. He'll go over. For the second time in 3 days, the New York Liberty host the Dallas Wings.
Oh, I can't wait.
They beat them by 20 2 nights ago. Tonight, the Liberty are favored by 13.
Okay.
I'll take the Wings this time. Hard to beat the same team by a big margin twice in 3 days. I'll take Dallas
the Wings.
plus 13. How about you?
I'll take the Wings too.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you convinced me.
One of my favorite players in the entire WNBA plays for the Dallas Wings, Enrique Agubinwale. You know, the All-Star Game MVP.
Yes.
I love Agubinwale. 20.5 points over under for her tonight. Skraby.
I'm going to say over because every time I watch her, she scores a ton.
She does get over 20 most nights. I'll take her as well. And then we've got preseason football.
Dun, dun, dun,
Tonight,
dun.
the Bears and the Chiefs. It's the final preseason matchup of the year for these teams. 32 points over under. That's a hard one because 32 is like nothing. But then again, it's preseason and nobody really does anything.
So you're going to go under?
I'm going to go under, but 32 is not very much.
All right, I'm going to go over.
You're going to go over?
Just because.
Just because. All right, one more. Indianapolis Colts are favored by a whopping 6.5 points.
Oh, my goodness.
Over the Bengals. This is at Cincinnati, but it is a preseason game.
Is Joe Burrow playing?
I think the odds makers must know something. Like Burrow's not playing, and maybe Richardson is, but 6.5 is a lot.
I'm going to take the Bengals.
Cincy plus 6.5.
Yes.
I think you should always take points in a preseason game because it's a coin flip to begin with.
Yes.
I'll take Cincinnati as well.
All right.
All right, there's our daily Gambit stuff for today. What's coming up next, Mr. Skraby?
Well,
we're going 30-mile zone.
We are, and we got to show that video of Tatis sprinting on the field for everybody to see, and we'll talk about it. Baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile, and you can get tons of benefits and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. But in the 30-mile zone, Chris, we are going to talk about what happened with Nikola Jokic's brother from I don't know what Chris is doing.
I'm open.
The
young man just walked by with a baseball, and I was, calling for him to toss it up to me.
The kid was like, no.
He wasn't taking any chances.
No. Anyway, so we're going to talk about what happened with Nikola Jokic's brother after he punched that guy during the game. Remember that?
Oh, I do. They finally have come to resolution on that.
Yes. And also, it's not a sports story, but Bennifer is over, everyone.
I was going to ask you, are you going to have an update on Jennifer Lopez? Because I need one.
Okay, yes. The answer is yes, Chris. We're going to have that as well.
It's all coming up in the 30-mile zone. Gwynn and Chris, we are broadcasting live. Come and see us. We're at the corner of 10th and J. We're in the gas lamp right next to Petco Park. Broadcasting live till 5:30, giving away Padre tickets. But you have to come by to win on 97.3 The Fan.
Welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. I'm Matt Skraby. Chris Ello is just ordering us some food right now. Thank you, Chris, for doing that. I got to turn on your microphone.
Getting you a little food, Scrabe. We're hanging out here, having a great time at Casa Octavio. I got to thank Tony Gonzalez for getting us out here today. One of our great sales guys, and Jeff Hamby's here, but also want to recognize. I don't know if you saw sitting right over here to our left, Scraby, the big guy, Mr. Michael Valenzuela.
I definitely noticed.
We have,
I've been sitting up straight.
We have. That's why you're sitting up straight. You're at attention.
Yes, I'm at attention.
But we have our market manager here with us today. Michael's we couldn't be any luckier to have a guy that loves us, our station, and what we do in sports, and he's here supporting. So we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Came down to hang out with us at Casa Octavio. We're on the corner of 10th and J. I do want to tell you, Scraby, that Michael Valenzuela tonight is hanging out in the owner's suite.
I did hear about that.
That's where you and I have. I think you and I have arrived in a lot of ways. We've accomplished a lot in our lives, but we still have a long way to go before we ever get invited to the owner's suite.
Yeah, we do have a long way to go.
I don't think we're. I don't think we're ever. We may never get there.
Well,
we may never get there.
I think one day we'll get there, but I would be too nervous to be in the owner's suite.
Oh, my God. I wouldn't know what to do.
Me neither. Where do I put my hands?
and if I eat any food, am I going to eat too much? Am I gonna not bust my tray properly? I'm sure they don't have trays in the owner's suite, but you know what I mean.
No, they definitely have someone who is helping out in the owner's suite. But it's
kind of nice. We can live our lives vicariously through Michael Valenzuela, who's going up to the owner's suite. Michael V is a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Yes.
And I know we're going to get into the TMZ here in a minute, or the 30-mile zone. But have you heard all of what's going on with Russell Wilson? It's the more and more
Is this real news or is this fake news?
I think this is real Russell Wilson news. The more and more I keep reading about this, the more it seems like they might be leaning to Justin Fields, and they might even be. I read a report from a credible NFL writer. I'm not saying he's always right.
Who?
I don't want to embarrass the guy because he's going to be so far off. Mike Tannenbaum.
Okay, yeah, I know him.
All right, he said that he's hearing that the Steelers very well may just get rid of Russell Wilson.
Wow.
And sign Ryan Tannehill to be the backup to Justin Fields.
That's crazy.
Now, that seems crazy, but I'm just saying the Russell Wilson career, unless, he rescues it here, has gone so far down so fast.
Yeah.
It's gone from being one of the best quarterbacks in the league to making, $300 million a game.
Yeah.
To destroying the Denver Broncos franchise, and now he may not even make it in Pittsburgh. So I'm just telling you what I'm reading.
Well,
so we'll see.
I've always liked Justin Fields. I feel like with the right coaching, he could be pretty darn good. I thought the 49ers should have taken him way back when, but they took Trey Lance instead, and they traded up to get him.
Where is old Trey?
He's, I believe he's sitting
playing with the
squarely on the bench with the Cowboys.
Oh, he's still with the Cowboys.
But yeah, I was watching. He was the Cowboys were playing the Raiders last week in the preseason game, and so I was watching him a little bit. What in the world were the 49ers thinking when they drafted him? He doesn't even look good in a preseason game in the fourth quarter.
That's what you get for, North Dakota State?
Yes, North Dakota.
Never played a game there. I mean, he only played 6 games there. At least Carson Wentz, who went to North Dakota State, was a 2 or 3 year starter.
Trey Lance played a bunch of games.
Who was kind of legit, although Carson Wentz kind of faded from view after that injury in his first year in Philadelphia. We are so close to the NFL season. I just want to remind you. This is the final. Okay, wait, Hamby, you can't do that.
Well, when you were in the bathroom, we were trying to make the speaker work.
I wasn't in the bathroom. I was
I'm sorry.
Putting money in the car meter.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to have to probably turn this down a little bit.
Hamby, you're going to have to turn that down.
But
We have our radio feed going out to all the people listening here.
We were trying to fix the speaker,
so I'm hearing
and it
myself
wasn't
in
working.
delay.
So Hamby said we're going to put it onto the Odyssey app feed. And okay, we got a handle. We're professionals, Chris. We can work through this.
That's got to go. That's got to go. I can't hear myself.
Gotta go.
I can't hear myself 5 minutes later.
You know what? One of the things
out of the speaker.
You know what? One of the things that gets under my skin, and these are all just little things.
Okay.
But we always struggle with the speaker at broadcast every single time.
It does
we
seem
always
to be an
struggle with
issue.
speakers at the broadcast. But what we need to do though is I promised everyone on the stream, and then we'll describe it. We need to go to traffic, and then on the other side, we're going to do the Fernando Tatis Jr. video, Chris. So let's go to traffic first.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a handful of trouble spots here. Crash involving several vehicles southbound side of the 805 right before the 54. It's over to the right shoulder. Also traveling on the southbound 5, accident clearing up right around Main and Division. Still going to see quite a bit of residual slowing there. On the coastline, northbound 5 just past Delmar Heights Road. Reports of a stalled vehicle that's being moved out of middle lanes. And traveling on the southbound 15 just before Carmel Mountain Road. Reports of a stalled vehicle in the HOV lane. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, before we get into the 30-mile zone, we'll update you on Benefer. We'll also talk about Nikola Jokic's brother. Before Tony left the show, Chris, Fernando Tatis Jr., he said it was breaking news. He was doing sprints on the field, and our own Sam Levitt. We have the roving reporters that San Diego needs for Padres coverage. We have Tony in the booth, and we have Sam Levitt on the field taking video. And if you're on the YouTube stream watching us right now, you can see Fernando doing some sprints. And so here you go, Chris. Adam's playing it.
Yeah.
I
know
like
I know what a guy looks like doing
No,
sprints.
I think you need to actually see him do the
don't
sprints.
Need to. I really don't. I can picture it in my mind.
But how do you know if he was
Fernando's
limping
running
during the sprints?
I don't think he is, or Tony would have said, Fernando's doing sprints, but he's limping. But Tony didn't say that.
I think this looks very promising, and
it is promising.
I like the slowdown at the end of the sprint because that tells me that he's working on different speeds.
I just think he's going to be back, I believe, right around Labor Day. That's my guess. I don't have any insight, and if it's wrong, then you can shoot the messenger. But I'm feeling he's about 10 days away.
10 days, all right.
That's my thinking. I think Hassan Kim about the same. And you look at the Padres, the way they're playing right now, and they got Bryce Johnson instead of Fernando Tatis. I mean, that is going to have to be a major upgrade when he comes back. And we talked about this on the roundtable this morning. There's some other players that are going to come back from injury in the next few weeks for other teams. Maybe Glass now comes back for the Dodgers, maybe Albies for the Braves, et cetera, and there's some others. But I don't think any player can or should have the kind of impact in their return as Fernando's going to have because of the gigantic upgrade that he'll bring to this Padre lineup. I mean, look, you're going to put him in the 2 or 3 spot, right? And they're going to move everyone else down. It's just going to make everything much more dangerous.
Much more dangerous.
And it's not like he's a bad fielder. He's only the Platinum Glove Award winner from a year ago.
I've talked about this on the Skraby show before, but the question has been asked, is this team better without Fernando Tatis Jr.? And the answer is no. Have their best stints occurred when he's been out of the lineup? Yes.
No.
But I don't think it has any correlation.
It doesn't have any correlation.
Because it's like 2022, he was out, they went to the NLCS.
You know what? Don't keep feeding the fire. On that.
Okay.
Stop feeding the fire on that.
All right.
I mean, anybody who thinks that the Padres would be better off without Fernando, I shouldn't even have to address that.
Me neither. Neither.
Did we check traffic?
Yes, we did.
Did we get to the 30-mile zone?
We're about to do it.
Let's go.
If you don't know your sports gossip, can you really call yourself a sports fan? It's time to bring together sports and celebrity gossip. We call it the 30-mile zone, mainly so we don't get sued by the real company. On 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we should say before we get into the actual gossip news is that Scott Service of the Mariners has been let go by the team. And that was all rumored and everything like that, but It's a tough world being a Major League Baseball manager because you can have one good year, then have a struggle year, and you're fired.
You know what did in Scott's service? Expectations.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
They are dangerous for a manager.
That is true.
And the Mariners, I was looking the other day, they have fallen like 5 or so games behind the Astros. I mean, they're not even close to them really right now.
I mean, they were leading
by 10.
Recently?
By as many as 10.
Oh, man, Chris got his food.
All right, you go ahead and do the rest
All
of the
right.
show.
Oh,
I'm gonna
man,
be
my
eating
mouth
over
just
here.
started watering, to be honest.
Thank you.
All right, let's start with the Benifer news. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez.
Well, this is the biggest news going.
It is.
In all of the world, I believe. Never mind the Democratic National
Convention.
Yeah, never mind that. Benifer takes precedence.
You know, I can't say that I didn't see this coming, Chris.
Everybody
think I saw
it
this
coming. How many times has the ifer part of that been married?
The ifer?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jennifer Lopez. What was I can't remember the exact term that psychologists were using, but she's always seeking love, and she thinks she finds it, and then it's not exciting anymore, and they split up. So a joint statement read, "We have realized we are better as friends and look forward to remaining so. We will continue to work together and support each other on our shared businesses and projects. We wish the best for each other and one another's children. Out of respect for them, the only other comment we have is to say thank you to everyone who has sent us kind words of support."
I believe this is Ifer's 4th marriage in 8 years.
Source.
It's incredible.
That is crazy.
I don't even know how she has time to plan the next wedding.
Well, she's not planning.
You know, somebody does.
Someone does.
Somebody plans it.
She spends a bunch of money on these parties, I'm sure. A source told People that Lopez decided to file for divorce because she was, quote-unquote, done waiting, adding she tried really hard to make things work and is heartbroken. The kids are a top priority, as they always have been.
It's really hard to believe that she's saying that she tried to make it work, and it was the Ben part that didn't get it done.
But she's the one who keeps getting divorced.
There you go, Skraby.
It's like
there you go.
What do they say about John Mayer? John Mayer has lots of girlfriends, but he's the guy who keeps ending up alone. Is it him, or is it everybody else, Chris?
Is it Cake?
I don't know
That's a show on Netflix.
Oh, is it Cake? That was pretty good, I gotta say. I do love that show, and it's really hard to differentiate the two.
I agree with you.
All right, Nikola Jokic's brother. Now, if you don't remember, back in April 22nd, he was actually involved in a skirmish at a Dallas Mavericks game, or a Denver Nuggets game, I'm sorry, and he punched a fan in the side of the head. So police investigated this. The fan has said that they have suffered concussions during this, and they are still feeling, well, have you seen how big this dude is?
He is a big guy, but don't you find it kind of interesting that everybody who gets sucker punched then has headaches for the rest of their life?
I believe it, Chris. This dude is 6'9", 300 pounds, and he is punching full force.
Okay.
Well, the judge, or at least the courts, have ordered Nikola Jokic's brother to stay away from the man. That's all.
That's all he got?
No, he's still awaiting. He's still awaiting.
Well, is Nikola Jokic's brother been following the man? I mean, why would he ever want to go near him again?
I don't know, but this is the news that is being reported.
It was also being reported that the man was acting quite the fool towards Nikola Jokic's wife, which is what provoked Nikola Jokic's brother to take action.
Okay. Well, you still doesn't mean you should hit someone.
You know what? If you're just, yeah, you're right.
What?
All right, I can't promote violence.
Thanks for coming.
Even though I would like to promote violence on certain people, I must say. It does pop into my head now and again. I mean, some yokel who's sitting in the stands just making fun of Nikola Jokic's wife. What do you think's going to happen?
I don't know.
Do you think somebody's going to come over and put their arm around you and tell you thanks?
I think that.
Come on.
Yeah, the guy who's yelling at the wife or whatever, you're a loser.
Thank you.
Nikola Jokic's brother's kind of a loser for punching the guy, not for defending his brother's wife. That I agree with.
But here's the thing that bugs me is that the guy who was making fun of Nikola Jokic's wife was probably hoping to provoke Nikola Jokic's brother so that he'd get hit, and then he could claim that he had headaches, and hopefully make a bunch of money for being a moron. And those kinds of things would get thrown out of my courtroom, Skraby. Thrown out.
Thrown out. I got to say that Adam on the chat, our boss, said, sorry, there's no such things as remaining friends after you break up. I disagree. I am friends with one of my exes, and we are great friends. We talk when we need to. Everything's fine. I understand that in certain circumstances, you cannot be friends.
You're a bigger man than most people.
Because for the most
I don't
part,
think you can. I agree with Adam on this.
Really?
Yeah, I think you're better making a clean break. Moving on. Clean break, I say.
All right. I mean, I guess it depends on the breakup. I guess it depends on that.
It does, but I find it kind of. I think you should remain friends though if you have kids involved. That is better for the kids.
Yes.
So that is a factor.
I mean, or at least co-parents. That's you don't need to be friends because that gets ugly too. Anyway, I'm not married, so I shouldn't be talking about what gets ugly during a breakup divorce. Anyway,
all
right. Watch out, Mr. Beast, who's kind of in trouble, by the way.
Who is
Mr. Beast? Have you heard about this?
I don't know who that is.
Mr. Beast is like a YouTube sensation. Okay. And he does these crazy contests where you have to basically sleep in a house without any internet or anything for 30 days, and if you do, you get a bunch of money. It's not about him. This is about Cristiano Ronaldo, because Cristiano Ronaldo launched his very own soccer channel on YouTube yesterday, and shortly after it went live, it broke the record for quickest to hit 1 million subscribers.
Wow.
Which is pretty crazy. The page is filled with a ton of new content from him, and it goes into some deep dives into how he's maintained his success. It's kind of like a behind-the-scenes look a little bit, and so he has a ton. He's already surpassed 20 million subscribers on YouTube.
I think we what is the word?
I don't know.
think we love our athletes and heroes
a little too much.
Way too much in this country, But the one thing I can say for us, we're not as psychotic about it as people in Europe are with these soccer players.
I don't know.
Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi.
No, I get it.
They have hundreds of millions of people.
They're
hanging on their
stars.
every word.
Like most of our people are just are American stars. I mean, unless you're someone like Aaron Judge, where you're bigger than baseball and all that.
Okay.
Did you know that Justin Bieber, Lil Wayne, and Snoop Dogg are going to walk out with Floyd Mayweather when he fights John Gotti III on Saturday?
I have a question about Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
How many Snoop Dogs actually are there?
This is a good question because
he can't
everywhere.
possibly be everywhere that he claims to be.
He is.
It's incredible, this guy. I mean, he's
true.
probably throwing out the first pitch tonight at the ball game for all I know. Snoop Dogg is everywhere. It's incredible.
They always say, take advantage, strike while the iron's hot.
Well,
and he is striking while the iron is hot.
I agree with that.
That is for sure.
I'd agree with that.
All right, let's see what else we got. You got any things you want to get off your chest there?
I saw a picture of Tom Brady showing off a picture with him and his son.
His son is
What is
massive.
his son, like 14 years old? And he's already taller than Tom Brady.
He's massive.
Well, he's tall.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Massive.
Well, no, he's definitely tall. I saw Tom Brady in person at a Super Bowl Radio Row for the first time. And
Tom Brady's 6'4", isn't he?
No, he's like 6'6". He is a really tall dude.
And so his son has to be really tall. Do you believe Tom Brady when he says he could get back in there and play right now in the NFL?
Who am I to say no?
Exactly.
But the answer would be, why did you retire if you're still good enough?
He looks like he's in pretty good shape. I think he could get a couple of games in. Don't forget.
Oh, Elisa says that
quarterback.
The son of Tom Brady has supermodel height, too. So there you go.
Awesome.
That's true.
Tom Brady, quarterbacking in the NFL is at an all-time low for how bad it is. I mean, when you get past the first 10 or 12 guys.
Yeah.
So I do think Tom Brady could play. I mean, are you going to tell me the Patriots would be worse with Tom Brady this year than they're going to be with
Drake May,
Scott Zolak, or whatever the hell they're doing there?
That's the guy he's the color analyst of the team. It would be Bailey Zappi.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think the Patriots would be a little more dangerous with Tom Brady.
I don't know about that. I can't wait for
Padres Mets today.
Dive and catch, and Merrill got it.
Pre
people are saying that there's no audio, but someone said I can't hear Elo, but he looks annoyed.
Oh, really? We're not on right now?
No, we're on, but I think Adam hasn't hit the button, which sometimes happens.
Adam, hit the button.
It's okay. There's a lot of moving parts right now.
So whatever we just said didn't go out on the air?
It's on the air. It's just not on the stream.
Not on the stream.
I'll
Sorry,
give everybody a look-see in. To give people the audio on the stream, every time we come back from break, we have to hit a button that's to our left.
Another button.
And if it's not on, then no one's going to hear anything.
What did the person write in on the chat? That I looked annoyed?
Yes, Dominic, yes.
Well, it was another Skraby mess-up that got me annoyed, Dominic.
What did I do this time?
I don't know, but it must have been something.
All right.
We're going to play Chris vs. the Fans now. Chance for you to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. That's always cool. 2-night stay at Resorts World and 2 tickets to see Carrie Underwood, Reflection. It's at Resorts World Theater by overwhelming demand. Carrie is extending her Las Vegas residency through spring of 2025. Carrie Underwood, Reflection. The Las Vegas residency, August 14th to October 26th of this year. Tickets for this year and now next year are on sale at axs.com, axs.com, or rwlasvegas.com. Win those tickets, beat me in Chris versus the Fan. That starts now.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
Howdy do.
now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know Gen 4.
Chris versus the Fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm one of those guys who opens up like 7,000 tabs, and then I'm continually searching to find out where my questions are.
This explains a lot. This explains a lot of your issues.
And I know that it's
one tab at a time. That's my motto, pal.
You know what? This explains my brain to a T. I just got about 75 tabs open in my brain at one moment.
I can't do that.
I can't either, Chris. I need to do better about that, but here are the rules. You have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. And Chris versus the Fan is presented by SD Fat Loss. Lose 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days. Visit sdfatloss.com to schedule your free consultation. Casa Octavio right now. I'm going to be eating a quesadilla right now.
Have a little bite of quesadilla while we get into Chris versus the Fans. Is Adam bringing the contestants in?
No, I have the names.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're going to start with Dan.
Dan is first up today. Dan is the man.
Hello, Dan.
What's up, gentlemen?
Not too much. Oh, I forgot one part of the rule. If you're a first-time player, it's different when we're doing it on the side of the street.
Well, I know people are giving us a little bit of an odd look.
If you're a first-time player, let us know, and you'll get the first question for free today. But, Dan, are you ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go.
Let's play ball.
Here we go, Alan, Adam. Sorry.
Oh, my goodness, that came in hot.
George Costanza was a longtime employee of what sports franchise on Seinfeld?
The New York Yankees.
New York Yankees is correct.
Have you ever seen the there's a lot of tweets about this and posts I've seen that are really funny, and it's the clip of Costanza giving Derek Jeter hitting tips early in Derek Jeter's career.
No, I haven't seen that.
And people pointing out that Derek Jeter might not have made it to the Hall of Fame if it wasn't for George Costanza.
I think it was
no,
Jeter?
he did. A lot of those guys made appearances, but Jeter was also one of the guys.
Who's the guy who he was in an episode and he gets royalties? He was just recently.
Paul O'Neill.
Yes, he said he gets like $80 every once in a while.
Yes, Kramer told a sick kid that Paul O'Neill would hit not one but 2 homers for him in one game, and Paul O'Neill was like, "Come on, man! It's one thing, one home run, but you had to promise 2."
Did he hit the 2?
Hey, you got to watch the episode.
I'm not going to watch the episode.
I think he did. I think the second one was an inside the Parker. But Dan doesn't care. He wants
to
get back to the game.
I forgot that Dan was there. I'm sorry, Dan.
He wants
Here
to
we
get
go.
back to the game.
Okay, question number 2. Oh, 2 home runs was correct. Inside the Parker. All right, Dan. Let's see. What university's fans signal their sports nickname with the gesture called the Shocker?
I think that's Wichita State.
You are correct, sir.
Very good, Dan. Very good. What is it they do?
The Shocker. I
know
want to do
their team name is called the Shockers,
yes.
but I don't understand what this is.
You'll have to Google it later.
Okay. Bells are going off everywhere.
I know. When the NCAA tournament was here a couple years ago, I went to go watch it. Wichita State was playing Marshall, and their mascot guy was just a bundle of wheat, and he just ran around, and he was fierce, actually.
Okay.
He was actually
all right, well, very
scary.
good on Dan. He knew that,
all right.
So he's live.
Dan, you get this right, or Chris gets it wrong. You were qualified for that trip to Las Vegas. Here we go. Ooh, this is a tough one. In 1964, before founding Nike, what company did Phil Knight start? In 1964, before Nike, what company did Phil Knight start?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. Adidas.
Adidas?
That is incorrect. But stay right there.
Yeah,
stay right there.
That's one that I honestly should know because I saw the movie Air.
Air, yes.
Which was basically the story of
good
Phil
movie?
Knight. Yeah, very good.
Okay.
I would say very good movie. Ben Affleck played Phil Knight
in
that movie, and I'm delaying here because I'm trying to think
I thought you were
of the company that he started it because they talked about it in the movie, but I can't remember it. So I think Dan is going to be a winner unless Phil Knight founded Converse. I don't know. I don't know.
You did not found Converse. All right, Dan. First
you
winner
win
today.
Way to go, buddy.
Awesome.
Way to go.
You can give him the applause. I don't know that we wanted to go that wild for
crowd's
the applause.
Going a little wild, Dan, but that's okay. What was it? When you tell me, I'm going to be angry.
What's up, Dan?
Can I say something?
Sure.
I appreciate winning. I feel bad winning that way, but my brother has won twice this month.
What's your brother's name?
Lance.
Lance.
He's so good, man. He's so much better. I hate it.
You still won the prize, though. That's all that matters.
You got this one today, Dan.
That's all that matters, Dan.
Yeah.
I won, but he won better, and that's annoying.
Well,
I can totally understand this because
you can get it
I
the
have
next
a brother
time.
Too.
You can get it the next time. What was the answer? I'm dying to know.
Yes. Dan, stay on hold. Adam's going to get your information. The answer is Blue Ribbon Sports.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they did mention it in the movie, but
I had no
idea.
idea.
It doesn't stand out.
I had no idea.
Very good on you, Dan. You are a winner, and if you're concerned about how you won, just remember they don't ask how.
Yeah.
They ask how many, and you won that one.
All right. Moving on from that, I want to talk about, or should we go to break? I don't know the traffic's ready. Let's talk about this for a second. But I brought up for the Daily Gambit, we didn't ever get into it, the over-under for number of wins in the NFL this season.
Over-under for wins in the for all of the NFL teams?
For all the NFL teams. Let's start at the bottom. Who do you think has the lowest
total
win total?
Well, probably the Panthers, just coming off of last year. I would say that the Broncos are giving them some competition, but I'll go with the Panthers having the lowest win total number.
They're actually tied for the second lowest with the Broncos.
With the Broncos, so there's
5.5.
So there's a team lower than both those teams.
Yes, the team that you were just crushing the other day or the last segment.
Oh, the Patriots.
They're over under 4.5.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All
so,
right.
Do I think the Patriots are going to win more than 4.5 games? No, I don't.
I'm not trying to
rankle the Patriots fans?
Yeah, I don't want to rankle any. Well,
you're a Dolphin guy.
Actually, I do want to rankle Patriot fans because they obliterated us for like 2 decades. So I don't mind obliterating sticking it to the Patriot fans a little. But I think the reason that there you go.
Thank you.
There you go. I think the reason that the Patriots is lower is because how good the division is. Buffalo, Miami, Jets.
I guess that makes sense.
So that's probably why.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Bo Nix was named the starter by Sean Payton today for the Broncos.
By the way, did you see any highlights at all of the Broncos game the other night with Bo Nix playing? There's something that stood out to me.
The one where he threw the ball like 5 yards over the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, but that wasn't what stood out to me.
What was it?
The Broncos were wearing orange pants, and they looked really, really bad, I must tell you.
What'd you say, Adam?
Hexed?
Yeah, hexed? Oh, sorry, text. Sorry about that. All right. We need to get to break. We'll go through the rest of those a little bit later.
Yeah, we're going to go through every team in 1 minute. It's probably not going to happen.
No, it's not, but we need to get back on track. Adam's just keeping me on track, which is the good thing to do. So,
attaboy, Adam.
Yes, we'll go to break. We got some traffic. We got some more over-under for the NFL.
Yeah, I want to
look
forward to that.
All right. All right, we're losing all track of the broadcast, Chris, because
Are we back on the air?
We're talking to everyone.
I don't know. Everybody's talking to us. Hey, we still got another pair of tickets to give away out here, so you got time to get down here to the corner of 10th and J. We're in the gas lamp. We're right next to Petco Park, where tonight the Padres will play the Mets. And you can get into Petco Park to see the game between the Padres and the Mets. All you have to do is stop by our broadcast location here at Casa Octavio and fill out a little form. It'll take you it's just a slip of paper.
Yeah.
A form is not accurate. Take you about 30 seconds. You get your name in the hopper. And at 5 o'clock, we're going to draw one more winner of a pair of tickets to tonight's Padres-Mets game. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all.
Not too shabby at all. So come on down, hang out with us, grab yourself a little bite to eat. I mean, these nachos are kind of off the chart.
They really are.
I must tell you. We're having a great time out here.
I don't want to show people because we've demolished it to make it look kind of unappetizing, but it was very good.
It was very good. Yeah, we wouldn't be showing it in its best light right now.
No, that's what I'm trying to say.
The nachos. All right, 4:22 is the time. I wanted to just mention this. First of all, tomorrow's Annie and Elston show. Don't forget the new coach or interim coach of the way, but the very famous American soccer star Landon Donovan will be on with Annie and Elston tomorrow at 10:30. So make a programming note of that.
Yes.
We will have our regular show tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. We'll be back in the studio. But they let us out today. Skraby,
yeah.
It's always nice when they unhook the chains and let us out.
Guess what? The Padres win. We get to go out more often in the late season time.
It seems like, yeah. I mean, I'm so excited about the postseason and the run that they can make because, I mean, I don't remember a lot of broadcasts from the regular season, but I remember practically every broadcast from 2022.
Yeah.
And all of the people, we were doing those live up in the Western Metal Supply Company building up there. Remember how many, there was like 1,000 people up there. Remember that before the Padres and Dodgers?
I do.
It was incredible.
I was actually on the board, and then I remember that I was happy because there was a rain delay during that game that night. And it got pushed back 30 minutes, so I was able to get down there. I got to see the whole game. I was actually telling Skrabinators yesterday about that game because I didn't actually have a seat. And so I was just walking around the park with my press pass. Aimlessly. And then I'm not one guy, I don't like to cause attention. I don't like to have attention be brought to me. But this one guy recognized me, and he goes, "Hey, Skraby." And I was like, "Oh, you got a spot for me over there?" He's like, "Yeah, come on over." So I got to go over there and watch the game.
There you go. See? Yeah. It helps to be famous like you.
Also, 12 games in October is still something that you can listen to, and it's on the Odyssey app. If you just type in the number 12, games in October, I did a whole breakdown on every game in the 2022 playoffs for the Padres.
It might be fun to listen to that again before this year's run. And that leads me to what I wanted to talk about before we get to your over-unders on the NFL.
Okay.
In the 5 o'clock hour today.
What?
Probably at around 5:15. I want you to be tuned in. I'm going to lay out the 7 reasons why.
7.
I have 7 reasons. I'm calling it the Magnificent 7, which was, I believe, a movie title.
No, was it the Magnificent 7 or the 8?
Yes, it was. No, it was the Magnificent 7. I'm going to lay out my Magnificent 7 reasons why 2024 might be the year for the Padres. Coming up at about an hour. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that.
You even got Adam to say, ooh.
Mr. Negative, as I'm known,
you are,
is going to lay out 7 reasons why the Padres may actually get it done.
No, I think you need to say 7 reasons why they will get it done.
Not quite ready to go that far.
Are you saying get it done like World Series win?
Win it all.
Oh.
Win it all.
Oh, this
Skraby.
is a must listen at 5:15, 5:20. Must listen.
Coming up in a little while.
All right.
All right, in the meantime, let's get back to
anything we do until then is just not going to compare. So
sorry, you're going to have to wait.
All right, let's get back to the over-under win totals for the NFL.
Who's you told us who was the lowest? The Patriots,
and it's Panthers,
and then
Broncos,
the Panthers, Broncos.
5.5.
They're 5.5. Who's on the? Let me see how many of the top 10 I can guess.
Let me turn away the computer.
In terms of over/under win totals, obviously the Chiefs are going to be there.
Okay.
Are you going to tell me where
teams tied? There's 2 teams tied for first.
All right, the Chiefs, it's at the 49ers and the Ravens. I'm going to say those 3 teams are at the top.
No, there's only 2 teams that are tied for the most wins.
I got you, but I'm saying, all right, Ravens and 49ers. So they put the Chiefs. All right, who is it?
Chiefs and the 49ers.
Okay.
And under 11.5.
Okay. But I'm just trying to name the top 10, and I'm not trying to name them in a particular order.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I'm taking it too seriously. Go forward.
Ravens are got to be a top 10.
They are. They're under 10.5.
I got to believe that the Lions are over this year.
Good call.
Way up there.
10.5. Same with the Ravens.
10.5 for the Lions, so I got 4. I will say that even though they've slipped up a little bit, the Bills are still, at least according to the odds, a top 10 team.
They're tied for third at over under 10.5.
Really?
Yes.
No, they're way up there.
So there's
too.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams over under 10.5.
Okay.
And you've named.
I've named 3 of those.
You've named 3. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to say that you know what? They're not this good, but they always have to put the Cowboys way up there because people think the Cowboys are better than they are. Say the Cowboys are a top 10 team going into the season.
They are. Over under 9.5.
9.5, but they made the top 10. How about the Texans?
Oh,
people
good one.
are loving the Texans this year.
Over under 9.5.
So I'm still missing 2 of the 10.5 teams.
Yes, you have 2 10.5 teams. You're overthinking one of them.
Oh, well, I mean, Sam, I'm just trying to think of all the teams in football.
It gets tough when you have to do it in your head.
When you're doing it in your head, yeah, it's not as easy.
Yeah.
How about the Bengals?
The Bengals are one of those 10.5 teams, over under 10.5.
Bengals, and how about the Packers?
The Packers are 9.5.
They're a 9.5, so I'm still missing one of the 10.5. The Eagles.
Eagles was the other 10.5 team.
So did I get all 10, or is there another team in the top 10? I think I'm close.
Well, you got 2 more teams, and they're both in your division.
2 teams in the 9.5. The Jets and Dolphins.
Correct. Jets and Dolphins are both at over under 9.5.
Okay.
I'm very curious to see how the Jets are this year.
I obviously am rooting for the Jets to be horrible. I root for that pretty much every year. It doesn't mean that they will be, because I rooted for the Patriots to be horrible for 2 decades, and that didn't work. And since then, I've rooted for the Bills to be horrible, and that hasn't worked. So just because I'm rooting against it doesn't mean. The Jets have a lot of skill, even without Aaron Rodgers. But, you know, we'll see if Aaron Rodgers still has enough left. I mean, a 2-year – look, when you're 25 years old, 24, 6, whatever, then a year off is not as big a deal. But when you're already 4, 36?
Yeah.
I think a year off can be a big deal.
Yeah.
And so that's got to be a question
mark. I think he's coming
up
on 40, isn't he?
We're all, yeah.
Let me look.
I mean, he'll get there eventually.
I'm going to see what Aaron Rodgers' age is. He'll get there eventually. Thanks for that.
Yeah, well,
Mr.
we hope
Time.
he will. We hope he
is
will.
40. He's
already 40.
He'll be 41 in December.
Okay. So that would be my big worry on the Jets. My big worry on the Dolphins is the same worry I have, for the 3 years. They can't beat anybody who's good. And if you look at the Dolphins' schedule this year, Skraby, it's so typical of the Dolphins. They play lousy teams in September and all really good teams in December. And
they're in the cold, too.
And in the cold. And they're going to be like 8-2, and then I'll just brace for the collapse. That's what's happened almost every year, it seems like, with the Dolphins. So, hopefully they'll change the narrative this year.
Your coach, Mike McDaniel, has the complete and total love of his team.
Yeah.
I
don't think that's a bad thing.
No, it's not at all. I think that's a huge thing for them.
I think they play for him.
I think they'll rally around each other better.
Yeah, but it didn't help them win any games when it really mattered last year.
I guess that's true.
By the way, we're going to find out about the Jets right away because they play the Sunday night opener against your 49ers.
They do, yeah.
I believe that's the first week game, so that'll be a fun
we're gonna have
week one matchup.
Thursday game, I think it's Ravens Chiefs.
Yeah.
Friday game from Brazil on Peacock. Eagles Packers,
which I will not watch because there is no way the Peacock people will ever get me to sign up for that service again.
You sure you don't still have it? You can just tune right in.
I might. That's a good point, Skraby. I've canceled it a dozen times, but they never accept my cancellation for whatever reason.
Well, I know why, because they just hope you forget, and then it just comes off your debit card for the rest of the time.
I know. That's what they did.
That's
Lori,
what they do.
My lovely found out about it after like 5 months. She's like, we're still paying for Peacock. I'm like, I basically canceled at halftime of that Dolphin-Chiefs game. I didn't even wait for the second
maybe that's
half.
why they put you on the list of this guy tried to take advantage of the system.
It was so bad, I didn't even want to watch the rest of that game.
You know, I just recently found out that I was signed up for a service that was $5.99 a month, and I've been signed up for like 4 years, and I had no idea.
Yeah,
no idea.
That can happen.
Anyway, well, that's it for the overs and unders around the NFL. When we get back, I'm just taking it, Chris. Do you want to take it, or should I just take it?
Go for it. You got it.
When we get back, we're going to do the Big Five, and a big-time Major League Baseball player has called it quits.
Oh, yes, I saw this.
And this guy I do like, so we'll tell you about that.
A lot of people like this guy.
Also, it's not Joe Mauer, Adam.
If it was Joe Mauer, we'd have to do a breaking news sounder.
I'll never live that down. Also, Mike Schultz said something about the game last night, and I want to get your opinion on it. It's about what happened in the 9th inning for the Padres. So we'll talk about that in the Big Five when we get back here on 97.3 The Fan.
struck out 7, and he's pitching another good game.
I think that takes him out of Rookie of the Year conversation. That he
Falling on your tuchus?
Covering first, yes.
You can't fall on your tuchus
He's gonna
and be
lose
Rookie of the Year.
At least a vote.
Gwynn and Chris broadcasting live, Casa Octavio. We are on the corner of 10th and J. We have one more pair of Padres Mets tickets to give away for tonight's game.
Yes.
So, the hopper is, there's certainly contestants in there.
Yeah.
But it's not an overwhelming number.
No, there's probably like maybe 25 in
20,
there.
25. So you sneak by here right now, you could slip in and walk away with the tickets. You never know.
You just have to be here at 5 p.m. So if you're in the area, come right over to 10th and J, sign your name up, and then wait and get some food, get something to drink.
While you're waiting, get a nachos. I'm telling you right now.
It's good.
They're delicious. All right, coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, my magnificent 7 reasons why it's Bacon Legs himself.
What?
Steve Scott, ladies and gentlemen, a great sports writer for the Los Angeles Times back in the day.
Oh, wow.
There he is. Good to see you, Steve. Hadn't seen him in years.
Should I know him?
No, you shouldn't know him. I know him. But he had a funny nickname. He called me Bacon Legs. But you've seen my legs, and that just doesn't
No,
seem
you don't
like
have skinny legs.
Fits.
You have massive calves.
Yeah. But anyway, Steve Scott, really good guy. All right. Coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, my magnificent 7 reasons why this could be the year for the Padres. Coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. But right now, coming up a check of traffic, and then Skraby takes us through a big 5.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
We've had our share of problems in the North County this afternoon. One of them is this collision on the Carmel Creek Road on-ramp to eastbound 56. Also getting reports of a 3-vehicle accident intersection of Del Dios Highway and West Villa Rancho Parkway. So you're going to find emergency crews on scene of a collision on southbound 805 at Plaza Boulevard. They got the Plaza on-ramp and the slow lane blocked to southbound 805. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big 5 starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
By the way, before we get to it, if you love Mediterranean food, like I do, like Skraby does, when I'm not eating nachos, I'm eating Mediterranean food. Spiro's, authentic Mediterranean. It's in Coronado, La Jolla. Also, grab yourself a little Spiro's tonight at Petco Park.
Yes.
Right there. On the
but first, come over to Casa Octavio.
Yeah, right.
We got a lot of food going on.
You got to eat a lot if you want to listen to this show.
It's true.
It's just part of the deal.
And you know what? This hour is brought to you by Floor and Decor. Unbeatable prices, unmatched
Do they serve food there
selection.
too?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Floor and Decor has more styles of laminate, vinyl, tile, wood, and stone for anyone looking for the right look at the right price. Your next beautiful space is at Floor and Decor. Floor and Decor, unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection.
Okay.
All right, let's get right to it, and we'll go to the first.
Should we just get a quick shout out to Marcia came by? What a
Marcia.
a Padre fan and fan of the show.
Yes,
she
absolutely.
Is. I mean, everybody's come out of their way to say hi, but Marcia kind of stood out.
Stuck
a little
around.
Bit.
She stuck around.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I do I'm 1 minute, and then they leave, and there's nothing we can do about it. But Marcia stuck around. All right. Even though the Padres lost,
what do you think it is about 5? What do you think it is about the headset and the microphone that doesn't give away the fact that we can't really talk to the people at that moment?
I think people are just excited to be out and about and here meeting us and doing things. And
I know, so they come running right over.
Yes, they do. Even though the Padres lost big yesterday, Mike Schilt wanted us to make sure we appreciated the fight late in the game. He said, quote, "I just love competition all the way to the end. I mean, clearly didn't come out on our side. But talk about guys fighting, scratching, and clawing. I didn't love the result for him, but a rise. I loved his last at-bat. Last at-bat of the game, and this guy is competing his tail off." He also talked about Jackson Merrill's 2-run homer, which was a part of the 3-run 8th inning. This is what winners do, man. They compete regardless of circumstances, and guys did it today. The effort level and the fight was there. end quote. Chris, do you think this is something worth talking about?
First of all, I think it's way too positive in the wake of an 11-4 loss, and that's why a lot of people don't like it, and why it kind of bothers me a little when he's so upbeat. However, the fact that Mike Shildt has never stopped talking about competing for all 27 outs, that has ended up becoming kind of the definition of his team.
Yeah.
And if you compete for all 27 outs in an 11-4 game, you might also compete for all 27 outs in a 5-4 game, and it may pay off for you. So it's driving me crazy a little bit when Mike Shildt, Mr. Positive, but in this case, he's trying to set the tone for what this team is all about, and I have to say it's been working.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
You stole my thunder.
I did. I'm sorry.
No, but you're right. This is what Mike Shildt has been telling us all season long.
Yeah,
and so this is what he's been telling his team all season long. And you know what? I think the biggest part of this whole thing is that the guys have bought into it. Because Luis Ariz is battling into his last at bat. These guys are not giving up, and we've seen that, 32 times this year they've come back?
32.
I think this is a huge part of why the Padres are doing what they're doing this year. And Mike Shildt, as wacky as he is at times, he has a method and he sticks to it. And I think there's something to that.
It's starting to work. That's why this guy's always been successful, as I say, second half of every season.
Correct. Former Red Star Joey Votto has called it a career after 17 seasons in Major League Baseball. He posted on Instagram yesterday. It's saying it's time to hang it up. He was with the Blue Jays. I don't think he ever made it to the big league club with the Blue Jays, but he officially said he's going to hang it up. The debate about his Hall of Fame status is not just getting started, because everybody's been talking about it for a while. From 2007 to 2017, only Barry Bonds outranked Votto in on-base percentage among qualified hitters. Only 3 players beat him in batting average, and only 8 in slugging percentage over those period of 2007 to 2017. So is Joey Votto a Hall of Famer? I'm up first. And I'm going to have to, I'm not very good with the Hall of Fame discussion. I'm not very good at knowing who's a Hall of Famer. But when you are mentioned over a 10-year period with Barry Bonds as the only person that has outranked you, that's pretty good. Same with only
Why is
3.
Barry Bonds a Hall of Famer?
Good point. In my mind, he is.
I
But
know,
good point. You're right. He's not a Hall of Famer. I don't think he's the first ballot. But in 5 tries, I think he gets in at least once. What do you think, Chris?
I think Joey Votto is a borderline Hall of Famer. I know he's definitely in the Hall of Very Good. My requirement has always been that you're a dominant player at your position for the 10 years. And he was one of the better players at his position. But I kind of compare Votto to Steve Garvey. And I don't think Votto was better in this era than Garvey was in his era. And we know Garvey, he's never even come close for some reason. Votto does not have an MVP, which Garvey did not have. But I'm going to leave him a little short unless I get talked into it.
All right. I love Joey Votto's personality. The story that Tony tells all the time about him when Tony got on base and Joey Votto's like, "Hey, can I get your dad's email so I can talk to him about hitting?"
No, he's very personable.
Yes,
Joey Votto.
Very personable. I forgot to mention this on the Mike Shildt question, but Mike Shildt is going to join the morning show tomorrow at 9 a.m. So everybody make sure you're there for that.
Are we still in a wait-and-see mode for the Friar Friday interview tomorrow?
So tomorrow's big interview day on the station. We got Mike Shildt at 9 a.m. with Ben and Woods. We got Landon Donovan at 10:30 with Andy and Elston. And with us at 2:20, it's scheduled with Jason Adam, the pitcher who has not given up anything since he's come to the team. So
he was really dominant the other night.
He was.
Those poor Twins looked like they were minor leaguers, I must say.
But it was scheduled.
Number 3.
Thank you. The New York Yankees defended Aaron Judge amidst claims made by a Little League World Series coach that the slugger ignored his players during the 2024 Little League World Series Classic on Sunday. Tuesday, the Yankees called Judge one of the greatest ambassadors of our sport and said the Little League coach, quote, could learn a lot from him. They go on to say he's a role model, blah, 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 blah. But according to Staten Island Advance, Because they just go on and put a statement out about how great Aaron Judge is. And he is a great guy, but I don't need to read it. According to Staten Island Advance, South Shore Little League manager Bob Laterza said that Judge failed to acknowledge his team ahead of during the Yankees game against the Tigers in Williamsport, Pennsylvania Sunday. He said, quote, "How about turning around or waving to New York and to the kids that think you're a hero? They're the ones who pay your salary," end quote. What is the end game for this coach, Chris?
I don't care.
Does he have a case?
Yeah, I don't care what happened.
What do you want to say?
What I want to say here is that if you're Aaron Judge, and by and large, I've never heard anything but good things about Aaron Judge.
Me too.
And his ability to, be with the fans and give back to the game. But if you're Aaron Judge and you don't accept every request for your attention in the history of man, then that one person's going to try to come out and make you look bad. I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy it. Oh, wow. Adam said that's enough. Adam doesn't want to hear anymore. Evidently, I said the final word on that.
I don't even get a word on it.
Number 2.
Oh, my gosh, we're moving on.
We're moving on, pal.
By the way, I want to shout out Jake right now, who's on a plane watching us right now.
Hey,
so thank you,
Jake. All right. Hurry up, Skraby. We're coming up to the end of the hour.
I mean, we got 3 or 4 minutes. The Dodgers, facing a roster crunch, they DFA'd Jason Hayward for assignment today.
Saw that.
He actually, I believe, hit a pretty big home run the other day.
2 days ago, he hit a 3-run homer to win the game.
Now, rival teams now have 7 days to claim Hayward off of waivers. Otherwise, he's going to be released and become a free agent, and he would only be owed the prorated portion of his $9 million salary. Now, I know that I got crushed for Brandon Crawford, but Chris, what do you think about bringing in Jason Hayward if Tatis is out for longer? I agree.
Yeah, no former Dodgers, no more.
Hayward slashed 208, 289, 393, and 197 plate appearances this year.
Yeah. He got DFA'd for a reason. He's no longer.
It's always really tough when you DFA someone after they win a game for you.
That would be tough, I must say. That was a pretty big home run he hit the other night. There was 3-3, bottom of the 8th. Bang, 3-run homer, they win. So, yeah. No, I don't want him. I don't want anything to change the chemistry of the Padres right now, frankly.
Right. Number 1. Did we already get the Oh, there we go. I'm just making this up on the fly, but I went to ESPN.com. On the homepage, it has a picture of Francisco Lindor, who's going to be in town here tonight through Sunday. It says MVP, how Francisco Lindor is leading the Mets turnaround. Now, do you remember how bad Francisco Lindor was at the beginning of the year, and everybody wanted him to be DFA'd by the Mets and all that stuff?
No, you wanted him to, and we told you that it was ridiculous.
I don't have any cares in the world about Francisco Lindor's status on a roster. But do you think he has any MVP consideration right now?
Yes.
I do too, but I don't think it's enough.
No, Ohtani's going to win. He's going to go 40-40 by the end of the month. Ohtani does that. It kind of ends the race, but Lindor is going to be a top 5, maybe higher. He's had an incredible year, and he's hit, all of the big blows that Profar and Merrill and all those guys have struck for the Padres. Lindor's been the guy doing it for the Mets.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, if you're in a tight game, this weekend, he's going to be pretty much the last guy I want to see come up there.
He's got 25 homers, 73 RBIs. He's hitting 266.
Yeah, but that's up from like 066.
Yeah, in his last 30 games, he's hitting 305. He's got an OPS near 9. He's got 8 home runs, 21 RBIs.
Lindor's good. He's had a great year. He's one of the better shortstops in baseball.
Yes, correct.
And he has been for a while.
Yes. But that's it for the Big 5.
All right, 5 o'clock hour. We'll hear from Mike Schilt ahead of tonight's game against the Mets and my 7 magnificent reasons why the Padres could be the year, baby. Could be. We'll have it for you when we return on Gwynn and Chris.
What about
Good Adam.
Adam? Do you think Adam was popular in high
Adam
school?
seems like a pleasant enough
He's
fella.
shaking his head no.
No, he wasn't popular
So
either?
all three of us were
So
not
all of
popular
us,
in high school.
Nobody knows.
Is there a guy on the station that would be, or a guy or gal that would be popular in high school?
Woodsy,
Adam?
come on. Woodsy.
Woodsy? Okay.
Oh, my God. Woodsy talks to everybody.
Hamby said he was very popular in high school.
All right, coming up in 10 minutes,
Chris
we'll
doesn't
try
care.
to try to steer it back to sports. My magnificent 7 reasons why the Padres, this might be the year. They're coming up in about 10 minutes.
Yes, but first,
Why don't you update us on Mike Schilt?
All
what
right.
did he have to say
Mike
today?
Schilt spoke with the media earlier today.
What did he not tell us today?
Well, we're going to have to find out in this one because, oh, wait a second. We have a significant roster move.
By the who?
By the Padres.
Oh, well.
It just happened now.
Is it?
It's breaking newsworthy.
Really?
It is breaking newsworthy.
Uh-oh.
Adam, would you agree on this?
This is breaking news from 97.3 The Fan.
Let me guess.
What?
They're putting Matt Waldron on the injured list.
No, they've optioned him to
okay.
El Paso.
All right.
They're recalling Logan Gillespie from AAA El Paso.
Okay.
I get the move because he needs a little bit of rest, but I didn't think they were going to straight up option him.
Yeah, I don't know that El Paso's the best place to find your knuckleball.
No,
command.
isn't that in the league where everybody hits home runs?
Yeah, but they need it. They could probably use another arm right now, so they'll do this, and then Monday when it's Waldron's turn to pitch, they'll
call him back up.
Well, no, they'll probably call up Vasquez and have him make the start and
Duh.
send somebody else down. That would be my guess. This isn't shocking. I don't know if it's an overreaction or not. I kind of think it is. But if Waldron is truly hurting a little bit, as he seemed to indicate after the game yesterday, then this is probably the best move.
It is the best
You
move.
know, you look around baseball, this is not surprising anymore. The Diamondbacks, a couple of weeks ago, sent their center fielder down, Alec Thomas. He was almost like an all-star last year. Nolan Gorman hit like 35 home runs last year, 20 this year, just got sent down by the Cardinals.
Well, he's been brutal this year.
He has, but my point is if you don't perform anymore, they don't wait around anymore
It's kind of
for
like
you.
if you're a manager. You don't win games in your second year, you're out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll talk about this again possibly by the end of the show. All right. Does that change your Magnificent 7 at all that Matt Waldron was optioned?
Has nothing to do with it.
Okay, has nothing to do with it.
None.
Mike Schilt, though, he was updating the media on Fernando Tatis Jr. We told you earlier that he was running on the field, and we have a video at 97.3 The Fan SD on Twitter. But he was talking to the media and talked about Fernando's progress.
Today, like any like healing specific stuff? Like, did you get the MRI, or is it just like he's feeling good enough?
He's feeling good enough. I mean, it's 10 weeks. It'll be close to 10 weeks, in a short period of time. So it's been a while. So he's been healing, and there's probably going to be some more imaging take place just to create more understanding of the baseline. But and again, I don't want to get into the medical space or the doctor space. But they clearly feel like there's been enough healing and rest to take place to allow him to progress to get his sprint work in and increase his baseball activities or get back to baseball activities.
What does it mean to him to be able to take those steps for the first time in a little bit?
Yeah, listen, he loves playing this game. He's chomping the bit to go compete with his buddies and be a part of what we're doing here. And he was excited about the fact we're ramping up baseball activities yesterday, and I'm pretty sure he's good to get out there and get a little sweat going.
Mike Schilt on Fernando Tatis Jr. telling us, as usual, not a whole lot, but he was out on the field sprinting some today. That
Looking very strong.
That in and itself has to indicate that he's closer to getting back than he was, say, a week ago. And I'm predicting Labor Day.
You have predicted this.
Predicting Labor Day for Fernando. Or,
It makes
that
sense.
weekend area.
It makes sense.
Well, I hope so. I mean, they need him, for the September surge. All right, is that all we got for Mike Schilt today?
It's all about Tatis, but it's kind of the same sort of news.
Same kind of stuff.
Yeah, same kind of stuff. But the
Okay.
Matt Waldron thing, at first when I saw it, it was shocking to me, but it's not so shocking to me anymore.
Well, they could have put him on the IL and then just had him throw on the side for a couple of weeks and try to get his command back, or they can put him in some game situations. Obviously, that's what they've opted for. But, it's been quite the roller coaster. Or are we allowed to say that?
Yes.
Will
we
Mike
are
Schilt,
allowed to
will
say
Mike
that.
Schilt be upset with us? Matt Waldron started the year as the number 5 starter and was basically lucky to hold on to that in April and early May. And then for 2.5 months, he was better than anyone. Like, he was better than Dylan Cease. I mean, he was that good.
Yeah, he was.
And they even thought, a lot of people, that he should have made the All-Star team.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's, really been a struggle the last 5 or 6 starts. So.
You know what the Skraby were saying in the suite yesterday was?
I don't.
Well, I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
They were saying, like, oh, hey, we got through the first inning with Matt Waldron. Things are looking up because he was having tough first innings and tough second innings. Second inning goes well, and then the wheels came off.
Well, he gave up 1 run in the 3rd, and then the
wheels came off in the 4th.
They came off in the 4th, but as I said to Tony earlier, a lot of that was him taking one for the team.
Yes, it was.
They would have gotten him out of there in a normal game when it was 3, maybe 4-0. But they would have never left him in to face the lefty who hit the 3-run homer to make it 8-0. The cleanup guy. He's like, Wallner, thank you, Adam. There's no way the way Waldron was pitching that he would have been allowed to face Wallner in that situation normally. But in an 18-game stretch in 18 days with 4 big ones coming up with the Mets and everybody having pitched as much as they already have, I could understand it. Mike Schilt rolled the dice, was hoping to get a couple more innings from him. It didn't work, but Waldron took it, and he had to take the bullet.
Yeah.
And him taking that bullet, although I know no one liked it, I didn't, no one loved it, the bottom line, that bullet may help them win tonight or tomorrow. And that's, to me, part of being a team player. A lot of pitchers would have said, hey, I don't have it, Skip. Get me out of here.
Yeah.
Waldron,
let me protect my stats.
Waldron gave up 10 runs. Did you see that? That was the most runs a Padre starter has ever given up at Petco Park.
What?
Yeah.
That's
ever.
Insanity.
Well, they don't normally leave pitchers in to give up 10 runs.
No, they don't, but that seems crazy to me.
Well,
because the Padres have had some not-so-good teams here at Petco Park.
I know, but you don't normally leave a guy in to give up 10 runs.
You're right.
They did yesterday, and I commend Waldron for taking it for the club. All right, let's check traffic, and then no more waiting around. Chris Ello's 7, Magnificent 7.
You keep forgetting the title.
I keep forgetting the title
segment.
of it. Chris's Magnificent 7 reasons why this might be the year for the Padres. And I think they're all pretty legit.
Okay.
So stick around to find out about it when we return on Gwynn and Chris. All right, welcome back. Gwynn and Chris wrapping things up today. Our live broadcast from Casa Octavio on the corner of 10th and J. Man, I'll tell you one thing, the Mexican food, the fare, was delicious.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of good cold beverages out here. Everyone having a great time. Still people coming in.
Yep.
Because the game is, about 90 minutes away? A little less than that, actually.
Exactly 80 minutes
80
away.
minutes away from first pitch tonight. Dylan Cease will throw that pitch against the New York Mets. Sam Levitt will have the pregame show coming up in about 15 minutes. Crisello, Tony Gwynn Jr., and, of course, Mr. Skraby. All right, we've been talking about this, Skraby, so let's, without any further ado, got my magnificent 7 reasons why the 2024 season may be the year for the Padres. And you said that I should say it will be the year for the Padres, like they're going to win it all. But you know and I know that if I go ahead and predict something like that, and they lose let's say 2 out of 3 games, everyone's going to flood my Twitter handle with,
you
threats,
did this.
Threats of, disfigurement. So I can't make a prediction that the Padres are going to win the World Series.
I get it.
At this point,
hey.
I would love, for us to finally get our parade this year, and I think there's some legit reasons why that can happen. So here we go. You ready?
Yes.
Or do you
I
have
am.
some more business you want to take care of?
Go for it.
All right, number one reason why the 2024 might be the Padres' years. First of all, they're going to get into the postseason. And you have to get into the postseason to even have a chance. If they go 18-16 the rest of the way, they'll win 90 games this year, Skraby. That's the same number of games that the Texas Rangers won last year on their way to the World Series.
I like that. That's a
so
good
note. So a little
note.
karma maybe.
That's a good note.
But I'm thinking the Padres will get about 90, and that would be good. Number 2, the Padres win close games. They do. They're 7-1 in extra innings this year. There's only one other team in baseball that has less than 3 extra inning losses, and that team's the Rangers, ironically.
That is ironic.
But the Padres are 7-1 in extra innings. They do the little things well. They normally run the bases well. I said that as I was thinking of my boy Hassan. But they win close games, and I think that is a recipe for a championship season. They've had a little of that magic touch.
Yeah.
And I think that 32 come from behind wins and so many dramatic wins, it just feels like it could be a championship season. All right, number 3. And I think this is a big one. Reasons why the Padres could be the year. Number 3, they hit the ball. And I know that sounds kind of silly, but here's what I mean. The Padres have struck out fewer times than any team in baseball. Meanwhile, the Padres pitchers have struck out the second most in baseball. So you get into the playoffs, right? You're facing good pitching no matter who you're playing. Home runs are a little harder. To me, making contact, putting the ball in play is a big deal in the postseason.
Yeah.
The Padres do it better than anybody, and they prevent it better than anybody. I think that gives them a big advantage in any playoff series. Number 4, Padres win on the road. They win on the road.
They do.
And if you're going to go into the playoffs as a wild card, guess what? The other team's going to have home field advantage, so you're going to need to win on the road. But the Padres have the best road record in the National League, and it's not even close, Costa. The hell out of here.
Costa,
who let him in?
With the one finger salute.
Costa. They let him even walk down the street is beyond me.
I know, right?
He's hilarious.
He is.
All right. But they win on the road.
Yes, they do.
And they're going to have to win on the road. Their record on the road is way better than any team in the National League. Not even close. Number 5. They're going to get better. We already know it.
Getting better where?
They're going to get Fernando Tatis Jr. back. They're going to get Hassan Kim back. They might even get Yu Darvish back. There is no team right now anywhere in baseball that's going to improve more than the Padres are in the next month. I mean, they're going to get, potentially 3 All-Stars and 2 almost Hall of Fame talents back.
That is true.
That's a huge
That
reason
is.
why I think this could be their year.
That's massive. Yes, you're right.
Number 6. This is a little humor. Number 6, the Colorado Rockies will not be in the postseason.
You just had to make this a part
Had
of
to
it.
get that in there.
Are you saying that because of what happened when they faced each other that one time in the playoff game?
No, because of what happened this year. The Rockies were the Padres' kryptonite this year.
It's every year.
I know.
Except for last year, I guess.
So my point being, the Padres don't have to walk into the playoffs and see the Rockies. We know that. And here's the number 7 reason. The Magnificent 7. It comes full circle, Skraby. The number 7 reason is the Magnificent 7. The 7 arms in the bullpen that Mike Schilt can trust, and you can trust, and I can trust to get the job done in October. It's the deepest collection of reliable arms in all of baseball. Starts with Suarez. You got Scott. You got Jason Adam, who will be on our show tomorrow.
Yep.
Little programming note.
220.
That's 3. But it goes beyond those guys. You got Adrian Morejon. You got Jeremiah Estrada. And it goes beyond them. Because Brian Hoying has been almost unhittable.
He's been good.
And Yuki Matsui, I know he's given up a run here and there, but look him up for the last 2.5 months. He's been pretty good. My point is, will they be perfect? Probably not, but they could be as close to perfect as any bullpen group in baseball. Those are my 7 magnificent reasons why this is the year for the Padres. And I think you'll agree that they're fairly legit reasons. I mean, they got to give you some hope moving forward.
When Chris says he's going to bring a list, I know that he's done his research, because he's not going to just bring a list that has no research done. So I agree with everything. But do you know the pitching, the relief pitching, I think, is the most important.
Right.
Do you know what they're calling the combination at the end of the game now?
Every team that has a 3-headed monster like this calls it something. What are the Padres calling it?
It's ASS. It's ASS. It's the Adam Scott Suarez. And so when someone says to you, man, ASS pitched so good last night, you know exactly what it is.
I don't know.
I don't want to
like
say the word, even though it's not really that bad of a word, but...
That's what. Oh, are they actually using the word?
Yes.
Okay.
They'd be like, Adam, can I say that? I can say that word, right? I can say it. So they just say ass.
So basically now the Padres say, we're going to lead for 6 innings, and then we're going to go ass.
I mean, they could. They could. Right. I like it, though.
That's okay.
Give them the ass.
Okay.
Cornholing.
No, I agree with all your Magnificent 7.
Well,
Chris.
there's my Magnificent 7. I'm watching this Padre team. We've all seen the movie where the Padres kind of let it all slip away and it ends up in a pile of rubble. And I understand that a lot of fans out there are worried about it, and they're looking over their shoulder and they're seeing the Mets there. And they're going to St. Louis, and they're going to see the Cardinals next week. And they're seeing all of these terrible things befalling this team in the next 5 weeks, and somehow they're going to, fall short of the playoffs, and it's, not going to work out. I just don't know that because that's happened before, it means it's going to happen again. This is a completely different, ball club, different manager, different makeup. And the Padres do things well that are beneficial to you in the postseason. They don't strike out. Their pitchers do get strikeouts. The Padres win close games. The Padres win on the road. The Padres have arguably the best bullpen out there. And that doesn't include, Cease and King and Musgrove. That's a pretty formidable 3 guys.
It really is.
That are going to be starting games.
You got to think,
And I didn't mention anyone by name in that. There was no mention of Profar or Merrill or Higashioka or Manny or Fernand. None of that. It's all about what this team has shown us for the first 5 months of this season.
Who are your 3 wild card pitchers right now?
Oh, those 3. That's it. That's no argument.
I just didn't know if you're going to throw in a wrench or something.
No wrenches. Musgrove, Cease, and King.
What order?
Adam. What am I going to do with him? Adam Klug, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going Cease.
I'm going to go with that order, what I just said.
Musgrove, King.
Not me.
You're going Musgrove, Cease, King.
Yes.
But I think,
Musgrove will start the opener. He's got the experience. He's been there. He's done that. Cease for the close down in game 2. And then King, right behind that. Feeling good.
I really like what I've seen out of Michael King.
And I know a lot of people say, well, we got to get the number 4 spot. We got to get the home field in the first round. Be nice. But the Padres have won 2 out of 3 series in Baltimore this year, in Cleveland, in L.A., in Atlanta. I mean, you name it, they've gone and won series.
Yes, they have.
They can do it in Arizona if they have to.
Remember when I was like, yeah, Mike Schultz right. All they need to do is win series, and everybody laughed at me for agreeing with him? Yeah. What about now? What about now?
I always laugh at you.
I know you do.
I always laugh at you.
The sun, I cannot believe this, but the sun has stayed away from us for the past 3.5 hours.
We were in the shade the entire time today.
Except for now, but
this
it's
last
good thing.
moment.
Yeah, it's good.
This last moment. All right, who won the tickets today? Patrick?
Drew and Lily.
Drew, Patrick.
And Jonathan.
Yes. We gave away 3 pairs of Padre tickets today.
For tonight's game.
What a cool deal that is. Did you ever do anything crazy like my dad and I once did?
Like sneak into the place
We
and
didn't
break
sneak in. We went to Dodger Stadium in the 5th inning of a game once, and we just kind of walked around the perimeter, and somehow some fans that were already inside said, hey, we got 2 tickets that we didn't use. And then we went.
I don't think that's a bad thing. It's 5th inning, whatever.
Yeah, we did. We got in, we saw the game, and it was like a 15-inning game it ended up. So we felt like we got our full money's worth.
10 full innings for free.
Yeah.
I never did anything like that because I was a rule follower. Still am a rule follower.
Well, we were following the rules. We were just being very hopeful.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those are good memories for you and your dad, though.
It was fun.
How many games did you grow up going to?
I would say about 10 a year, maybe 15.
That's a lot.
And they had a thing in L.A. that was awesome. It was called the Dodger Pepsi Fan Club.
Oh, you've told me about this. This is awesome.
And they used to give you had to take a bottle cap from a bottle of Pepsi, and you had to get 6 of them, and you had to affix the 6 bottle caps to this sheet. I don't know. That was a pain to do. You get some glue or whatever.
Yeah.
You had glue everywhere. You had bottle caps. It was on the sheet. Then you had to mail the sheet in.
Oh, my
with
goodness.
the 6 bottle caps.
Who's counting those bottle caps?
I don't know, but in return, you got tickets to 6 games.
Now that is worth it.
6
I thought you were going to say 1 game.
No, 6. And they were smart, I hate to tell you, because I was the only one who got a ticket. They didn't give one to my dad or my mom or anybody.
Oh, so they had to buy the ticket to take you.
That's right.
That is brilliant.
And you know that I was like, I'm going to this game. It went by hook or by crook, Dad. I
got 6 free tickets.
I have 1 free ticket to this game. If I had to go by skateboard, I was going.
Back in the day, you probably could have gone by yourself, right? I mean, yeah.
I did go when I got into high school, but not at the age I was in the Dodger Pepsi fan club. I was like 8 years old.
Oh, I thought you were back in the 30s. They didn't really have
in the 30s. The Dodger Pepsi fan club was just the best. 6 games a year.
You know, unfortunately, I don't have any baseball memories like that.
Yeah.
I went to Candlestick growing up a few times watching Giants games, but I remember it always being really cold, and they weren't very good at
You know what else I recall about the Dodger Pepsi fan club? They gave you a little card that said you were in the Dodger Pepsi fan club. It got you nothing other than the fact that you had a little card to carry around.
Did you show it off to everyone?
Yes, yeah, you were all excited. Hey, look, I'm in.
That's really funny.
It's funny what things were important to you when you were little.
All right.
All right, thank you to everybody.
Woo-hoo!
It's a long list of people. Paul, who hosted us here at Casa Octavio, and all the wait staff who took care of us. Hamby, Aiden from promotions, Adam back in the studio.
Yes.
And all of the people who came down to see us and win prizes, we appreciate it. We'll be back in our studio tomorrow at 2 o'clock. For Tony Gwynn Jr. and Skraby, I'm Chris Ello. Stay tuned. Sam Levitt's Padre pregame show is next. Then Padres Mets on 97.3 The Fan.